Chapter 1366. When the heavenly mountain talisman was broken, the white-haired elder was so angry that his lungs were about to explode. Just as he was about to control the heavenly root to continue suppressing Tianji and the others, 108 Qiankuan swords flew out of Yi Qinfeng's body and formed a gigantic Qiankuan sword, slashing towards him. Watermark advertisement test little bastard. I'll definitely kill you. The might of the cosmic sword was comparable to a mid-grade sacred treasure, so the white-haired elder had no choice but to use a strangely shaped, extremely heavy, low-grade sacred artifact bone staff to face the attack with all his might. Boom! When the cosmic sword slashed at the bone staff above the white-haired elder's head, it released endless energy, causing crisscrossing spatial cracks to appear in the void. As the two powerful attacks clashed, the Tao powers in the white-haired elder's body erupted. The terrifying bone staff forcefully blasted away the 108 cosmic swords that had combined. Green Heaven Art, Heavenly Tao Disc. After forcefully breaking through Yi Qinfeng's attack, the white-haired elder's green heaven art circulated rapidly as he struck out with his palm at Yi Qinfeng. A large number of Tao patterns quickly gathered, forming a heavenly Tao disc. It was like a spatial black hole that devoured everything. It locked onto Yi Qinfeng and blasted over. The white-haired elder was a Nirvana heaven realm mighty figure. The heavenly Tao disc he struck out was extremely powerful. Even with Yi Qinfeng's body, which was comparable to a mid-grade Tao treasure, he didn't dare take it head-on. Seeing the heavenly Tao disc distorting a large area of space approach, the sword puppet suddenly blocked in front of the heavenly Tao disc. It used its indestructible body to neutralize the white-haired elder's killing move. What? Seeing the sword puppet remain unscathed after taking the heavenly Tao disc's attack head-on, the white-haired elder revealed a look of shock. He was shocked by the sword puppet's defense. Boom, boom, boom. At that moment, the golden battle god brandished his golden fist and launched a series of fierce attacks at him, forcefully interrupting his continuous attacks. Cosmic sword formation, sword tornado. When the white-haired elder held the bone staff and erupted with astonishing Tao powers, sending the golden battle god flying with a single strike, Yi Qinfeng controlled the 108 cosmic swords to transform into a sword tornado that stirred the void and swept the white-haired elder inside. Heaven and Earth Spirit Grade Tao Diagram, shatter. Trapped within the sword tornado, a spirit-grade Tao diagram of the heavens and the earth floated up from the body of the white-haired old man. When he merged with the Tao diagram, he was like a small world that controlled everything, and he spilled out boundless energy of Tao insight to blast open the sword tornado. A Nirvana heavenly realm expert is indeed not someone I can fight against right now. The white-haired old man was only at the early stage of the Nirvana heavenly realm, but Yi Qinfeng felt a deep sense of helplessness when facing him. No matter how hard he tried, he was completely countered by the old man. Yi Qinfeng exclaimed at the terror of a Nirvana realm expert. The white-haired elder was even more shocked. He couldn't believe that he couldn't kill a level 6 beast emperor with his strength. Both sides were in a stalemate. While Yi Qinfeng was hesitating whether or not he should ask Lei Yi to help, the incomparably sturdy sky curtain was torn apart. Tianji and the others passed through the cracks and entered the core of the heavenly mountain. They saw the vertical eye embedded in the ground, one of the 9 great restrictions of the 9 heavens divine country, the heavenly veins root. There's something wrong with this heavenly veins root. Although the heavenly veins root in front of them contained a vast amount of heavenly energy, Tianji felt that there was something wrong with the heavenly veins root at first glance. Who are you people? What grudge do you have with my 9 heavens divine country? Why do you insist on destroying our heavenly veins root? The white-haired elder looked at Tianji with a serious expression. He couldn't see through Tianji's real face at all and asked in a low voice. It doesn't matter who I am. However, it seems that I've underestimated your methods. You actually found a fake heavenly veins root to confuse us. Tianji sensed it repeatedly and was basically sure that there was something wrong with the Heavenly Veins root. It should be a fake Heavenly Veins root. Fake? Yi Chunfeng frowned slightly and revealed a surprised expression. You're quite capable. However, since you're here, you won't be able to escape death. The white-haired elder revealed a sinister expression. He performed his inherited secret technique and fused it with the fake Heavenly Veins root's power, increasing his strength. Leave this person to me. You guys leave this place quickly and search for the real Heavenly Veins root. I have a feeling that the real Heavenly Veins root is in the Heavenly Mountain Range. Tianji transmitted his voice. Okay. Yi Chunfeng and the other three said in unison. They wanted to break the space seal and leave this place. Heavenly Veins power, space seal. The white-haired elder roared and controlled the power of the fake Heavenly Veins root, fusing it with the seal that was full of cracks. He strengthened the seal to withstand the attacks of Yi Chunfeng and the other three and didn't give them a chance to leave. Bloodline Ignition Ghostface and the others burned their powerful bloodline power to enhance their attacks and attack with all their might, but they were still unable to break through the restriction after using all their trump cards. At this moment, Tianji and the white-haired elder were engaged in a fierce battle. The commotion caused was like the fury of the thunder god, shaking everyone's mind. The entire space became blurry and distorted under the terrifying collision of forces. It was as if the entire space was about to collapse. Don't waste your energy. With your strength, you won't be able to break this space seal. The white-haired elder glanced at Yi Chunfeng and the other three who were continuously attacking and said sinisterly. That might not be the case. Yi Chunfeng sneered and summoned the Space Swallower, saying, Space Swallower, break the seal with all your might. Upon receiving Yi Chunfeng's order, the Space Swallower's sharp teeth moved quickly. It ignored the power of the space wall and bit down on the extremely tough seal. What kind of bug was this? Out of the corner of his eye, he saw that the Space Swallower had bitten a small hole in the space wall of the fake Heavenly Veins seal. The white-haired elder was shocked. You dare to be distracted while fighting with me? Seizing the opportunity when the white-haired elder was distracted, Tianji's entire arm merged with the green dragon's spear and intertwined with spear radiance that pierced through space. He carried the power of the great Tao and continuously attacked the white-haired elder, suppressing his attacks and forcing him to retreat. While Tianji was suppressing the white-haired elder, the Space Swallower had successfully bitten a hole in the space wall that was half the size of a person. Yi Chunfeng and the other three successfully left and returned to the Heavenly Vein. Let's split up and find the real Heavenly Veins root, Ghostface said as he took a deep look at the Space Swallower that surprised him. Okay. Yi Chunfeng nodded and put away the Space Swallower. He released his powerful soul power and searched for the real Heavenly Veins root in the Heavenly Vein. The Heavenly Mountain Range was too vast. In addition, there were many restrictions in the mountain range, which greatly hindered Yi Chunfeng and the others from searching with their souls. Wanting to find the real Heavenly Vein root in the Heavenly Mountain Range was as difficult as ascending to the heavens. Where could the real Heavenly Veins root be? After thinking for a while, Yi Chunfeng suddenly flew out of the Heavenly Vein. Mobile reading site, book address. To make it easier for you to read it next time, you can click on the Save button at the bottom to record your reading record. You will see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 1367. No one is allowed near the city mansion. When Yi Chunfeng returned to the city mansion of the Sky Mountain Island with extreme speed, 6 majestic guards wearing silver armor and wielding sharp spears immediately became alert. They pointed their spears at Yi Chunfeng and warned him loudly. Watermark advertisement test. Watermark advertisement test. Yi Chunfeng wasn't moved by the 6 silver-armored guards' warning. He stepped on the sword steps and flew into the city mansion. Courting death, the 6 silver-armored guards' expression changed slightly. They all burned their powerful bloodline power and stabbed their sharp spears at Yi Chunfeng. Buzz. Yi Chen-feng took a step forward, and a mysterious sword diagram appeared under his feet. The extremely sharp sword Dao pattern shot out and shattered the incoming spears. It pierced through the 6 silver-armored guards' bodies and killed them on the spot. Bang! Yi Chen-feng blasted out a punch. The terrifying fist light shattered the extremely tough and tall Beast Head Mansion's gate and entered the city mansion that was in chaos. How dare you? Who are you? How dare you barge in here? I think you are tired of living. A furious roar echoed. A Class 6 combat beast emperor wearing golden armor stepped out from the void. He was tall and sturdy, and his golden hair fluttered in the wind like a golden lion. He stared at Yi Chen-feng with his bronze bell-like eyes and roared loudly. Do you think you can stop me? Yi Chen-feng's eyes shrunk. The power of his 5 acupoints burst out. More than 50 million kilograms of power poured into his right fist as he blasted out a punch. Blue Sky Seal, seeing Yi Chen-feng's punch exploding layers of air, the sturdy man's expression changed. He quickly circulated the Green Sky's secret art and gathered the powerful heavenly power and Tao intent in front of him. It condensed into an ancient seal that seemed to contain the firmament and welcomed Yi Chen-feng's fist light that was compressed to the extreme. Bang! When the 2 powerful attacks collided, the sturdy man's blue sky seal was immediately shattered. The terrifying collision instantly engulfed him. Just as the sturdy man revealed a frightened expression and wanted to retreat, a faint silver light flashed in front of his eyes. The bronze sword soul that was constantly transforming flew across the firmament and turned into a 1-foot-long sword. It slashed him in half and turned him into minced meat that filled the sky. Buzz! Buzz! When Yi Chen-feng killed the sturdy man, a powerful array diagram appeared and shrouded Yi Chen-feng. 2 Nirvana experts, 3 Nirvana experts, and more than 10 combat beast emperors appeared at the same time. Void Killing Array, 10,000 Array assault the Nirvana Earth Realm Heavenly Mountain Island Lord, who wore a white Taoist robe, had snow-white hair and a beard, and sunken eyes, appeared above the huge array diagram. He quickly formed complicated hand seals with both hands, activating the array. A large number of offensive array patterns materialized and shot towards Yi Chen-feng like a bolt from the blue. Cosmos Sword Array. Thousands of killing array patterns attacked. Yi Chen-feng immediately summoned 108 Cosmos Swords. They revolved above his head and formed the Cosmos Sword Array to resist the attack of the array patterns. The God-Eater brain was also rapidly deducing and evolving the killing array patterns. Soon, it locked onto the killing array's core. Absolute Sword Black Dragon. After locking onto the killing array's core, Yi Chen-feng merged with the dragon's spine sacred sword. Like a black dragon, he soared into the sky, swallowing and spitting out boundless sword intent. He evolved the Great Tao's rules and stabbed the killing array's core. Kathy killing array's core was pierced through. The killing array shattered like glass. A large number of cracks spread on the surface of the array diagram. The Sky Mountain Island Lord, who was controlling the killing array, was forced to retreat by this sword. Senior Tsang, Lei Yi, Fire Qilin, Chaos Divine Beast, Golden Clear Dragon Bloodlion, come out quickly. After breaking the killing array, Yi Chen-feng controlled the ancient diagram fragment. He sealed the entire courtyard and summoned all his helpers. Nirvana Heavenly Realm experts and 3 sacred beasts. Sensing the terrifying aura emitted by Tsang Kunwu, Lei Yi, Fire Qilin, and the others, the Sky Mountain Island Lord and the others widened their eyes. They felt as if they had fallen into an ice cellar. They felt cold from head to toe. Who are you people? What grudge do you have with my 9 heavens divine kingdom? Looking at Tsang Kunwu and the others, the Sky Mountain Island Lord and the others didn't have a trace of fighting spirit. Would you believe me if I said we are from the Kirin Kingdom? Yi Chen-feng sneered and said mockingly, control them for me. Okay. Tsang Kunwu and the others shouted in unison and attacked the Sky Mountain Island Lord and the others. Break out of the encirclement. The terrified Sky Mountain Island Lord didn't dare to fight and wanted to break out of the encirclement. With I here, do you think you can escape? Although Tsang Kunwu hadn't consolidated his realm yet, he had surpassed the limit of the Nirvana heavenly realm and had broken through to the 4-star Tao Saint realm. He reached out his hand and a terrifying Tao intent sealed the space and suppressed the Sky Mountain Island Lord and the others. Then, Fire Qilin, Lei Yi, and the others attacked one after another. In an instant, all the Sky Mountain Island experts were severely injured. They spat out blood and fell to the ground, unable to move. Soul search with a thought, Yi Qinfeng used the power of the God-Eater brain to search the souls of the Sky Mountain Island Lord and the others. He forcibly obtained their soul memories and found out the location of the heavenly root. Send them on their way. Tsang Kunwu, Fire Qilin, and the others were Yi Qinfeng's biggest trump cards. They couldn't be easily exposed. After finding out the location of the heavenly root, Yi Qinfeng immediately ordered everyone to kill the Sky Mountain Island Lord and the others. He spat out the sky-burning sacred flame and ignited the city that was filled with the thick smell of blood. He summoned everyone back into the universe realm and flew back to the heavenly mountain range that was filled with restrictions. The true heavenly root was at the bottom of the heavenly mountain lake. With the help of the space-devouring insects, Yi Qinfeng entered the depths of the heavenly mountain range and found the lake in the heavenly mountain island master's soul memories. He entered the lake in a flash and swam to the bottom of the lake at an extremely fast speed. Roar, roar, roar! As soon as Yi Qinfeng entered the ice-cold lake, he was immediately attacked by some powerful demonic beasts in the lake. However, Yi Qinfeng's current physical body was comparable to that of a saint beast. The demonic beasts in the lake couldn't do any harm to him. He burst out with 50 million kilograms of strength and directly suppressed the demonic beasts in the lake. He swam to the bottom of the lake at an extremely fast speed and felt a powerful restriction. Space Swallower Bug, break the restriction. The restriction at the bottom of the lake was extremely powerful. Yi Qinfeng immediately summoned the Space Swallower Bug and ordered it to break the restriction. He also told Tianji and the others about the location of the true spiritual root. Under the crazy devouring of the Space Swallower Bug, the gap in the restriction at the bottom of the lake grew bigger and bigger. When the Space Swallower Bug had swallowed up a gap that was half the height of a person, Yi Qinfeng's body flashed and entered the restriction. Bead, a heaven bead. After breaking through the restriction, Yi Qinfeng saw the heavenly root that looked like a real dragon and was filled with the power of heaven. Above the heavenly root, there was an egg-sized heaven bead that contained a vast amount of power of heaven. Judging from the power contained in this heaven bead, this heaven bead was definitely a saint treasure and its level was not low. When Yi Qinfeng carefully approached this heaven bead, a powerful soul energy spread out from the heaven bead. In the next moment, an old soul appeared from the heaven bead. It emitted an invincible heaven's might and posed a great threat to Yi Qinfeng. Mobile reading website, book address. To make it easier for you to read this book next time, you can click Save at the bottom to record this book. You will be able to see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 1368. Human, what are you doing here? The old soul that appeared with Tian Zhu glared at Yi Qinfeng viciously, questioning him in a sinister voice. Are all the people of the celestial race so hypocritical? You know what I'm doing here, yet you still ask me. How boring. Although the soul of the old man in front of him was very strong, Yi Qinfeng was not afraid at all. With the strength that he currently controlled, he could easily destroy the old man's soul. Junior, you have the guts. The old soul said with killing intent, I hope you can still be so stubborn when I refine your soul. As it spoke, the heavenly jewel floating in the air shone with endless light. Endless heavenly energy quickly gathered, forming a terrifying hand of heaven. It evolved the heavenly Tao, suppressed the void, and slapped towards Yi Qinfeng. Cosmos sword formation. The heavenly jewel's level was very high, so Yi Chunfeng did not dare to be careless. He quickly summoned the Cosmos Sword formation, controlling the 108 Cosmos Swords to block the attack of the Heavenly Hand. After the attack, the Heavenly Jewel condensed another terrifying hand of heaven. It carried the boundless Tao energy of the sea and suppressed Yi Chunfeng. 3 great spirit-grade Tao diagrams, Tao transforming Yi Chunfeng multitasked. 3 great spirit-grade Tao diagrams appeared on his body and quickly gathered above his head, forming a sea of Tao intent. It chaotic the space and trapped the incoming Heavenly Hand. The old soul of the 3 great spirit-grade Tao diagrams revealed a surprised expression. With your age and strength, you can actually cultivate your Tao intent to such a level. It seems like you have many secrets on you. Perhaps if I obtain your secrets, I will have a chance to be reborn. A lonely soul like you wants to be reborn? What a fool's dream! Yi Chunfeng coldly laughed. His bronze sword spirit merged with the Cosmos Sword formation, amplifying the might of the Cosmos Sword formation, forcibly killing the Heavenly Hand. Lowly human, you will never understand the terror of my race. The old soul roared as he controlled the heavenly jewel to float above his head, shining with boundless heavenly light. A large amount of heavenly power rapidly condensed, forming numerous balls of light. They were like meteors flying from outer space, manifesting the laws of the great Tao as they shot towards Yi Chunfeng. The heavenly jewels were high-grade sacred artifacts. In addition, the old soul controlling the heavenly jewels had extraordinary strength. The attacks from the heavenly jewels could destroy mountains and rivers and shatter the earth. They posed a great threat to Yi Chunfeng, making it difficult for him to breathe. 9 Dragons diagram. At the critical moment, Yi Chunfeng summoned the 9WYRM diagram and controlled the vast sea of Tao insight to fuse into the 9WYRM diagram, condensing the spirits of 9WYRMs that sealed off the space before him and resisted the sphere of heaven that assaulted him like a meteor. 5th brother, we're here to help you. Just as Yi Chunfeng was under great pressure and was multitasking to resist the old soul's attack, Ghostface and the other 2 passed through the space restriction that was constantly being bitten by the space swallower bug. They appeared beside Yi Chunfeng, holding low-grade sacred artifacts, controlling the Gu Dao treasure to attack the old soul. Unexpectedly, there were 3 small fries. The old soul controlled the heavenly jewel to neutralize the attacks of Ghostface and the other 2. He said in a chilling voice, "But this is good. I'll deal with you all at once." As he spoke, the heavenly jewel floating above the old soul's head shone with a blinding light. It fused with the heavenly root that looked like a true dragon, releasing a boundless amount of heavenly energy that fused with the old soul. In the next moment, the old soul's body became more and more solid. His entire body grew bigger and bigger until he finally turned into an invincible god of war with a dragon-headed saber in his hand. The Almighty of the divine race was indeed powerful. Looking at the old soul that had turned into an invincible god of war and was close to reaching the limit of a 3-star Tao saint, Yi Chunfeng revealed a solemn expression. However, he did not retreat and attacked him with Ghostface and the other 2. Sun-shattering hegemony mantra. Ghostface instantly burned his powerful bloodline power and performed the most powerful saint mantra he had mastered. He raised his own power to the maximum. Holding the undead spirit spear, he carried a domineering power and met the old soul's dragon-headed saber with a spear strike. When the 2 great treasures collided, Ghostface immediately felt a power beyond his imagination pass through the undead spirit's spear and into his body. His body trembled, and he spat out a mouthful of blood as he was sent flying. The old soul sent Ghostface flying with one strike. The silver-haired devil dove and the black tortoise used their ultimate killing moves to attack. Although the 2 of them were powerful, the difference in power between them and the old soul was too big. The old soul slashed the air with his dragon-headed saber. The saber light that looked like dimensional light directly shattered the 2's ultimate killing move. Sword puppet, golden god of war defense. Seeing the silver-haired devil dove and the black tortoise being struck by the terrifying remaining power, Yi Chunfeng's two clones appeared in time and used their bodies to help the two of them resolve the crisis. Then, Yi Chunfeng controlled the sky-burning sacred flame and purple beginnings sacred lightning to shoot out of his body. They turned into a fire dragon and a lightning dragon and attacked the old soul. Interesting. I didn't expect you to be able to subdue two sacred spirits with your power. The old soul revealed a surprised expression. But here I am the heavens. No matter how powerful you are, it is useless. As he said that, the heavenly jewel embedded in his forehead like a third eye shot out a large amount of heavenly power. It crushed the void and directly shattered the two sacred spirits' attacks. Cosmos sword formation. Cosmos strike. The attacks of the two divine spirits were shattered. Yi Chunfeng ignited his dragon's bloodline and amplified his soul power by ninefold. He controlled the bronze sword spirit and merged it into the cosmos sword formation. His will controlled the 108 cosmos swords to fuse together. A terrifying will of the way descended, and the swords slashed toward the old soul as if they were cutting through the heavens. The moment Yi Chunfeng attacked with all his might, Ghostface and the other two also used their ultimate killing moves. They wanted to gather everyone's strength to severely injure the old soul. Desolate furnace of heaven. 4 destructive attacks attacked. The old soul immediately mobilized the power of the heavenly jewel and the heavenly jewel, forming a desolate furnace that was the size of a small mountain. It smashed forward with the might of the heavenly Tao, shattering the attacks of Yi Chunfeng's group of 4 and sending the sword puppet and golden god of war flying. Lowly humans, let me send you to hell. After shattering the attacks of Yi Chunfeng's group of 4, the old soul activated the strongest power of the heavenly jewel. It released a vast power of heaven that was as vast as the sea. It swept through the entire void and blasted towards Yi Chunfeng's group of 4, wanting to kill them in one fell swoop. Second brother, third sister, fourth brother, help me! At the critical moment, Yi Chunfeng summoned the 9-dragon jade annulus. He controlled his soul power and boundless Tao Sea to fuse into the 9-dragon jade annulus. At the same time, Ghostface and the other two controlled their powerful Tao powers and Tao diagrams to fuse into the 9-dragon jade annulus. They increased the power of the 9-dragon jade annulus and condensed 2 deadly dragons that contained the power of the great Tao. They tore through the power of the heavenly sea and blasted towards the old soul. Dragon race's top-grade holy treasure. The old soul's expression changed slightly. He immediately controlled the heavenly jewel to expand and block in front of him, taking the attacks of the 2 deadly dragons head-on. Boom! 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 When the power of the 2 holy treasures collided, the recoil caused the space at the bottom of the lake to collapse, forming a boundless storm that swept towards Yi Chunfeng's group of 4. Seeing Yi Chunfeng's group of 4 being engulfed by the terrifying destructive storm, a blurry figure appeared. He took a step forward, and the stars shifted as the world changed color. A power that almost reached the limits of the world erupted, churning the void and forcefully blocking the attack of the destructive storm. Mobile reading site, book address. For the convenience of your next reading, you can click on the save button below to record this reading record. You will be able to see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 1369. Big Brother. Looking at Tianji, who was standing in front of them with the great Tao scriptures under his feet, releasing the power of mountains and rivers, Ghostface and the others let out a long sigh of relief. Watermark advertisement test. Watermark advertisement test. Leave him to me. You guys find a way to destroy the heavenly root. After killing the white-haired old man, Tianji rushed over and looked at the old soul with a deep gaze, speaking in a deep voice. After speaking, Tianji burned his powerful bloodline power, and the yin-yang spiritual Tao disc appeared in his body. Although Tianji only cultivated one Tao will, He had cultivated the yin-yang Tao will to an extremely high level. It was stronger than any of the Tao wills that Yi Chunfeng had comprehended. With one step, the mountains and rivers moved, and the sun and moon lost their colors. All living beings trembled at this moment, and it was a great threat to the old soul. The heavenly jewel destroyed everything. Feeling the threat from Tianji, the old soul controlled the heavenly jewel to attack him. The heavenly jewels shot out, covering 100 miles. The terrifying heavenly jewels covered the sky and swept towards Tianji. Break! Tianji roared, and the green dragon's spear in his hand let out a deafening dragon roar. A ferocious green dragon tore through the incoming power of the heavens, and broke the old soul's attack with a single strike. Buzz! At this moment, the yin-yang Tao disc spun rapidly. Strands of yin-yang Tao will clanged as they crushed the void and blasted towards the old soul, forcing him to retreat. While Tianji and the old soul were fighting fiercely, Yi Chunfeng and the others quickly came to the side of the heavenly root, which was spewing out the power of the heavens. They controlled their Gu Dao treasures and sage treasures to attack the heavenly root, wanting to destroy it. After being attacked, the power of the heavens spewing out from the heavenly root suddenly increased. In an instant the entire space was shattered, and the Gu Dao treasure that Ghost Face and the others had thrown out was shattered by the power of the heavenly root, falling to the side. 9 Dragon Portrait Destroy. Yi Chunfeng spat out a mouthful of blood into the 9 Dragon Portrait, activating the power of the 9 Dragon Portrait. 9 dragon spirits twisted their huge bodies, overflowing with Tao connotation, and attacked the heavenly root consecutively. Boom! 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 9 explosions sounded, and the terrifying power caused the entire ground to shake. What a powerful force! Sensing that the 9 Jiao dragon spirits were instantly crushed by the heavenly root, Yi Chunfeng quickly recalled the 9 Jiao dragon portrait and summoned his natal item, the Chaos Divine Wood. Chaos Divine Wood, Devour. The Chaos Divine Wood was the nemesis of all kinds of energy. Yi Chunfeng controlled the Chaos Divine Wood to grow bigger and bigger. It extended a large number of 5-colored roots and took root in the surging root of heaven, allowing the Chaos Divine Wood to absorb the power of the root of heaven. Devouring the heavenly vein root, the Chaos Divine Tree continued to transform. Its trunk grew thicker and thicker, and its crown grew more luxuriant. What tree is that? Sensing that the heavenly root's power was quickly draining away, the old soul's heart shook. A look of disbelief appeared on his face as he stared at the Chaos Divine Wood that was growing larger and larger. The old soul was not the only one who was shocked. Grimace and the other 2 were shocked as well. Fifth Brother's methods were too shocking. She really didn't know where he got these treasures from. The black tortoise opened its eyes wide as it looked at the 5-colored Chaos Divine Wood. Yin-yang Pisces disc. While the old soul was distracted, Tianji deduced the yin-yang spirit grade Tao diagram to the extreme and transformed into 2 lifelike little fish. In the next moment, Tianji struck out with the yin-yang Pisces disc. The entire space was thrown into chaos. Countless laws of the great Tao crushed the space and bombarded the old soul. Boom! Under the attack of the yin-yang Pisces disc, a huge black hole appeared in the space before the old soul. It devoured all the light in the world, as if the world was collapsing. Heavenly Jewel, defense. The old soul's body was constantly being crushed under the yin-yang Pisces disc's attack. The old soul immediately mobilized the heavenly jewel to pour down a large amount of heavenly power to neutralize the yin and yang forces. However, Tianji's strength was too terrifying. He had almost reached the limit of the central world. The old soul's body was damaged and could not resist. Seeing the old soul's body being crushed by the yin-yang Pisces disc, the heavenly jewel suddenly enlarged. It turned into a boundless black hole and released a powerful devouring power. It frantically devoured the heavenly root's power and neutralized the yin-yang Pisces disc. Azure Dragon Strike. While the old soul was using the heavenly jewel to resist the yin-yang Pisces disc, Tianji threw out the azure dragon spear. It tore through the space and pierced the old soul with a force of hundreds of millions of kilograms. It directly pierced through his invincible celestial body and damaged his soul. After severely injuring the old soul, Tianji followed up with another attack. He summoned the azure dragon spear back to suppress the old soul with all his might. He kept worsening the old soul's injuries and did not give him any chance to breathe. While Tianji was using his absolute strength to suppress the old soul, the Chaos Divine Wood devoured a large amount of the Heavenly Root's energy and rapidly transformed. Once the Chaos Divine Wood matured, it would definitely become Yi Qinfeng's #1 trump card. Lowly human, I'll take your life. Sensing that 1/3 of the Heavenly Root's energy had been lost, the severely injured old soul started to fight with all his might. He burned his soul at all costs and released a powerful soul power into the Heavenly Jewel. He activated the Heavenly Jewel's power and resisted Tianji's spear light. Yin-Yang Dao Disc, chaotic void. When Tianji's spear struck the Heavenly Jewel and a majestic power of the heavens surged out, he quickly deduced the Yin-Yang spiritual grade Dao diagram to the extreme. Instantly, the space around the old soul became chaotic and continued to shatter his soul. Just as the old man's soul was about to be completely suppressed by Tianji, Ghostface and the other two appeared. They wielded powerful low-grade saint artifacts and continuously unleashed powerful killing moves to attack the old man's soul, directly cutting off his path of retreat. Lowly human, go to hell with me! Seeing that the old soul was being killed by Tianji and the other three, he used the last of his strength and injected it into the Heavenly Jewel. He controlled the Heavenly Jewel to attack the weakest Xuanwu, wanting to kill him. At that critical moment, there was a flash of light before the Black Tortoise and Tianji appeared before him. He wielded the Azure Dragon Spear, a medium-grade saint artifact, and stabbed the Heavenly Jewel, forcefully blocking the sure-kill attack. The old soul's last attack was too powerful. Although Tianji blocked it, he was still injured by the power released by the Heavenly Jewel. A stream of blood flowed out from the corner of his mouth. After injuring Tianji with his last attack, the old soul borrowed the power of the Heavenly Jewel and forcefully tore through the line of defense. Like a cold star, he entered the boiling Heavenly Root. Not good. He wants to detonate the Heavenly Root to kill us. Feeling that when the old soul entered the Heavenly Root released a terrifying destructive power. Tianji's face changed slightly and he said, "Don't fight. Let's get out of here quickly. It's too late to leave now. Leave your life behind." The old soul controlled the Heavenly Jewel to lock down the entire space, slowing down the speed of Tianji and the others. He also detonated the core power of the Heavenly Root. Chaos Divine Wood suppressed the Heavenly Jewel at this critical moment. Yi Qinfeng controlled the Chaos Divine Wood to fly away from the Heavenly Root that was about to explode. It flew towards the Heavenly Jewel that was releasing the power of the heavens and locking down the space. "Big brother, you guys go first. I'll cover the rear." While the Chaos Divine Wood was forcefully suppressing the Heavenly Jewel, Yi Qinfeng shouted at Tianji and the others. "No, this is too dangerous." Tianji refused. "If you want to leave, we'll leave together. Big brother, I won't joke around with my life. Even if the Heavenly Root explodes, I'll be fine." Yi Qinfeng urged loudly. "I'm staying because I want to subdue the Heavenly Jewel." Tianji looked deeply at Yi Qinfeng, who had a determined gaze and was hiding a big secret. He made a prompt decision and said, "Let's go. You guys leave with me." As soon as he finished speaking, Tianji tore apart the severely damaged spatial restriction that had lost the Heavenly Jewel's suppression. He then flew toward the lake with Grimace and the other two. Suddenly, a loud noise came from the bottom of the lake. The terrifying power instantly collapsed the space. The lake in the mountain that covered dozens of miles disappeared mysteriously. Tianji and the others who couldn't dodge in time were also sent flying by the explosion of the destructive power. Mobile reading site, book address. To make it easier for you to read this book next time, you can click on the bookmark button at the bottom to record this book. You'll see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 1370. Big Brother, do you think fifth brother will be fine? The black tortoise, who had been injured by the explosion of the heavenly vein root, was heavily injured. He wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth and asked worriedly, Watermark advertisement test, don't worry, fifth brother isn't a reckless person. Moreover, he is hiding a great secret, so he will be fine. Tianji, who was also heavily injured, quickly swallowed a medicinal pill. Then, he looked at the severely collapsed lake bottom and said in a low voice, Whoosh whoosh whoosh. Just as Tianji and the others were healing and waiting for Yi Chunfeng, ear-piercing sonic booms rang out. After receiving news of the heavenly mountain island, more than 10 experts of the 9 heavens divine kingdom rushed over through the transmission array. Among these experts there were 2 Nirvana heavenly realm powerhouses. Not good, the 9 heavens divine kingdom's people are here. Sensing more than 10 powerful auras approaching, the heavily injured silver-haired devil dove's expression changed slightly. When fifth brother comes out, we will leave together. After being struck by the explosion of the heavenly vein root, Tianji and the others were all injured. Among them, the silver-haired devil dove and the black tortoise were the most heavily injured. But since they didn't know whether Yi Chunfeng was dead or alive, they didn't leave and insisted on waiting. Damn it, who are you people? Why did you destroy my divine kingdom's heavenly vein root? The heavenly vein root was extremely important to the 9 heavens divine kingdom. Not only could it increase the 9 heavens divine kingdom's national fate, but it was also the heavenly vein spring of the 9 heavens divine kingdom. Once it was destroyed, it would be a great loss to the 9 heavens divine kingdom. I don't like your 9 heavens divine kingdom, so I want to destroy you. The heavily injured and bloody black tortoise coldly snorted and replied arrogantly, You are courting death. The Nirvana heavenly realm old man was infuriated by Black Tortoise's words. His face was covered in wrinkles, and he looked like he had 1 foot in the grave. He furiously roared and used his hand as a sword to chop down at Black Tortoise. His palm swept out with a boundless Tao intent. In that instant, time seemed to stop. A terrifying sword light instantly appeared in front of Black Tortoise, wanting to split him in half. Seeing that the Black Tortoise was in danger, Tianji snorted coldly and jerked his blood-stained sleeve. Instantly, the space in front of him started to wrinkle. Layers of power directly shattered the sword light that the Nirvana heavenly realm old man had slashed out with his hand. Well, who are you anyway? A Nirvana heavenly realm old woman with a head full of silver hair and skin as delicate as a young girl's frowned slightly. She looked deeply at Tianji, who she couldn't see through, and whispered in a low voice. She was wearing a silk robe and had eyes like cold stars. Would you believe me if I said we were from the Octave Divine Kingdom? Black Tortoise casually spouted nonsense. 2 old ancestors, don't waste your breath on them. Once we capture them together, we won't be afraid that they won't tell us the truth. A Nirvana middle-aged man wearing a dark golden robe embroidered with dragons and a crown on his head said coldly as he stared at Tianji and the other 3 with a ferocious gaze. All right, leave him to us. You guys deal with the rest. The silver-haired elder pointed at Tianji, who gave her a strong sense of danger and said, Try to capture them alive. I want to know their identities. Yes, forefather. Ghostface and the other 2 were severely injured. The middle-aged man didn't put them in his eyes. Be careful. No matter what, we have to hold on until fifth brother comes out. Then we can leave together. Tianji gripped the azure dragon's spear tightly and warned. Don't worry, big brother. It's just a few small fries. Watch me twist their heads off. Black Tortoise drank a mouthful of Tianji water and stuffed several Dao cores into his stomach. He held the Azure Blood Soul Hook Saber in one hand and the Destiny Mystic Saber in the other. He was ready to fight against the Nine Heavens' divine kingdom. Blue Sky Secret Art. The silver-haired old woman and the green-robed old man channeled the Blue Sky Secret Art in unison and attacked at the same time. They unleashed the Blue Sky Seal that seemed to contain heaven and earth and attacked Tianji. The Blue Sky Print, which was twisting the space, came at him. Tianji used his Blue Dragon Spear to meet the attack with all his might. The Blue Dragon Spear spun rapidly in his hand, devouring everything in its path. The terrifying will of Yin and Yang was brought to bear as the spear pierced through two blue dragon seals. After breaking apart the attacks of the two, Tianji immediately felt a sense of danger behind him. The silver-haired old woman and the green-robed old man appeared behind him, as if they had teleported. They held two low-grade saint swords that shone with boundless golden light as they unleashed their killing moves at him. The saint's swords that had evolved heavenly Tao runes were incomparably sharp. They cut through all obstacles and posed a great threat to Tianji. When Tianji was hit by the two's killing moves, his body strangely disappeared like thin air. Two bottomless chasms appeared where he had been. So fast. The two didn't expect Tianji's speed to be so fast. Their soul power surged and they instantly locked onto Tianji's position. Then, they interweaved with each other, sending out a series of sky-rending sword lights to attack Tianji, who was injured by the explosion. 8 directional dragons. Tianji took a deep breath and suppressed the injuries on his body. He pushed the Yin and Yang Tao will to its limits and stabbed out 8 times in an instant. The 8 spear lights transformed into 8 dragon-like spear lights that circled around his body and defended against the killing moves that the silver-haired old woman and the young man continuously executed. Boom, boom, boom. The destructive power of the three's battle was too strong. Rocks, ancient trees, and the ground were constantly exploding. Countless rocks were sent flying. The terrifying sound was as if a huge bell had appeared between heaven and earth, constantly vibrating and destroying everything. While Tianji was fighting 1 against 2, and he was facing the attacks of the silver-haired old woman and the other 2, the severely injured trio was in great danger. They were completely suppressed by more than a dozen Nine Heavens Divine Nations Nirvana Realm experts, and they were in great danger. Die for me. Seizing the opportunity when Black Tortoise was heavily injured and his attacks were slowed down, the man in the flood dragon robe transformed into the desolate furnace of heaven and smashed towards Black Tortoise like a towering mountain. It shattered his supreme grade Tao artifact battle armor and smashed him down to the bottom of the heavily collapsed lake. Just as the Black Tortoise fell to the ground with heavy injuries, a large hole suddenly appeared at the bottom of the lake. Yi Chunfeng, who was completely unscathed, flew out and hugged the Black Tortoise, who was covered in blood. He quickly stuffed a pill into its mouth. "Fifth brother, are you all right?" Looking at Yi Chunfeng, who caught him, Black Tortoise let out a long sigh of relief. His hanging heart finally calmed down. "Don't worry, fifth brother, I'm fine." Yi Chunfeng glanced at the critical situation of Ghostface and the others and said loudly, "We can't stay here for long. Let's break out of here first." "Okay, let's go." Seeing that Yi Chunfeng was fine, Tianji and the others were also relieved. They wanted to break out of the encirclement and leave. However, the furious Nine Heavens Divine Kingdom experts didn't give them the chance to break out. They all launched powerful attacks and sealed the space, trying to surround them. "Big brother, I'll lure them away. You guys take the opportunity to leave. We'll meet up outside." Yi Chunfeng found that Tianji and the others were heavily injured. He was afraid of accidents, so he transmitted his voice. After speaking, Yi Chunfeng took out the heaven bead that was sealed by the Chaos Divine Wood. "Heaven Suppressing Bead, you actually got the Heaven Suppressing Bead." Looking at the heaven bead in Yi Chunfeng's hand, the eyes of the white-haired old woman and the others turned red. The Heaven Suppressing Bead was the national treasure of the Nine Heavens Divine Kingdom. They couldn't afford to lose it. They quickly abandoned Tianji and the others and surrounded Yi Chunfeng. Big brother, leave quickly. Don't worry about me. I promise to leave this place alive. Yi Chunfeng shouted when he saw Tianji's group of 4 charging over without regard for their injuries. Okay, take care. We'll wait for you outside. Thinking that the explosion of the heavenly root didn't hurt Yi Chunfeng at all, Tianji made a prompt decision. He took the heavily injured black tortoise and the others and broke out of the encirclement. Mobile reading site, book address. To make it easier for you to read it next time, you can click on the Save button at the bottom to record your reading record. You'll see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 1371. Go to hell. The white-haired old woman roared. 2 Tao diagrams appeared in her hands, which were as delicate as a young girl's. They turned into 2 black hole-like heavenly Tao plates and rushed toward Yi Chunfeng. She wanted to kill him and take back the heaven-suppressing orb. Sword puppet, golden god of war, block. When the 2 heavenly Tao plates got close, Yi Chunfeng summoned 2 doppelgangers and blocked the 2 heavenly Tao plates in front of him. 9 heavens sword art, destroy. The green-robed old man attacked at the same time. His sword swept across the sky and killed mercilessly. Under the attacks of the 9 heavens swords, which had evolved into the might of the way of the heavens, all the living beings in the world trembled. Yi Chunfeng could smell the thick scent of death. At the critical moment, Yi Chunfeng and his 2 doppelgangers hid in the universe mirror. Using the indestructible defense of the universe mirror, they avoided the green-robed old man's killer move. Disappeared. How could it disappear? Seeing Yi Chunfeng disappear mysteriously, the man in the flood dragon robe widened his eyes in disbelief. Space treasure, that person has a space treasure. The knowledgeable white-haired old woman thought of the reason. She released a powerful soul power to cover the entire void and locked on to the universe mirror hidden in the void. Break. Discovering the universe mirror, the white-haired old woman attacked with full force with her low-grade sacred sword. Under her fierce attack, everyone found the hidden universe mirror and attacked with all their might. Boom. Boom. Withstanding the terrifying attacks, the universe mirror began to tremble. It was as if the entire void was about to shatter. Roar. Boss, who is so bold to attack us without restraint? Sensing that the universe realm was shaking, the primal chaos divine beast, which was cultivating, was startled. It quickly rushed to Yi Chunfeng's side and roared furiously. It's the people of 9 heavens god nation. Yi Chunfeng's lips curled up slightly, revealing a cold smile. Motherf ** Ker, these bastards from Jiutian divine nation are really daring. The chaos divine beast cursed, boss, let us go out and destroy them. Yi Chunfeng's eyes flashed with a glaring murderous aura. He said, everybody get ready, come with me, we'll kill them all. After saying that, Yi Chunfeng moved his mind and teleported all of his helpers out of the universe realm. They appeared in the space that was filled with crisscrossing cracks and was constantly collapsing. When Yi Chunfeng appeared, the furious white-haired old woman and the others attacked him without hesitation, wanting to destroy him in one move. 9 dragons jade annulus. At this time, Song Kuan Wu, who was wielding the 9 dragons jade annulus, let out a roar. He controlled the 9 dragons jade annulus to release 3 ferocious dragons that tore apart the attacks of the white-haired old woman and the others. Not good. Run. Feeling the terror of the 3 deadly dragons, the white-haired old woman and the others shuddered and instinctively dodged. Boom. 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 3 deafening explosions resounded in the chaotic void. The 3 deadly dragons directly blasted out 3 black holes in the chaotic void. 4 Jiutian divine nation experts who couldn't dodge in time were turned into minced meat and died on the spot. Who are you? Feeling the terrifying aura emitted by Song Kuan Wu, Fire Qilin, and Lei Yi, the white-haired old woman and the others shuddered. The killing intent in their eyes was completely replaced by fear. Even in their dreams, they never thought that Yi Chunfeng actually had so many terrifying helpers. Just based on your strength, you don't deserve to know who I am. Song Kuan Wu had already broken through to the 4-star Dao Saint realm. Nirvana Heavenly Realm experts were no longer enough in his eyes. He coldly looked at the frightened white-haired old woman and said arrogantly, "Go, quickly leave this place." The threat of Song Kuan Wu, Fire Qilin, and Lei Yi was too big. The white-haired old woman didn't dare to fight. She made a prompt decision to break out and escape. "Can you escape?" Song Kuan Wu sneered and said, "9 Dragon Jade Annulus, suppress the space." Under the control of his powerful Dao power, the 9 Dragon Jade Annulus continued to expand. Like a mountain, it suppressed the entire space and fiercely pressed down on the white-haired old woman and the others. Boom! Boom! Under the deadly pressure of the 9 Dragon Jade Annulus, the space shattered. Several Nirvana experts were directly crushed and died. The man in the Flood Dragon robe from Nirvana was also heavily injured under the suppression of the 9 Dragon Jade Annulus. A large amount of blood spurted out of his mouth. He completely lost the chance to break out. Bloodline ignition, Ling Tian body at this critical moment, the white-haired old woman and the other man no longer held back. They both ignited their powerful bloodline power and transformed into powerful Ling Tian bodies to resist the suppression of the 9 Dragon Jade Annulus. Ao Ao, the Fire Qilin roared. Its huge body burned with scorching sacred fire. Like a fast-moving meteor, it crashed toward the white-haired old woman and the other man with a force of hundreds of millions of pounds. Under the deadly impact of the Fire Qilin, the white-haired old woman's Gu Dao treasure was forcibly shattered. Her 2 quasi-sacred treasures were also knocked away by the Fire Qilin. Boom! The white-haired old woman's body shook. She was forced to retreat under the full force of the Fire Qilin's attack. A large amount of blood spurted out of her mouth. The moment she lost control of her body, Lei Yi appeared behind her like a bolt of lightning. Holding the sacred thunder sword in his hand, he attacked with all his strength. He tore apart her body's defense and constantly pierced through her body. "Old bastard, die!" When the white-haired old woman was heavily injured and her combat power was greatly reduced, the Chaos Divine Beast lifted the ancient bronze coffin and smashed it on her heavily injured body with the force of hundreds of millions of pounds. Her head and body were smashed in one fell swoop. Even her soul was not spared. The white-haired old woman's death caused the hearts of the green-robed old man and the others to fall to the bottom. They used all their means to break out of the encirclement and escape. But at this time, the Marquis of Qianming, Jin Qing, and Long Xueshi sealed off the path of retreat of the man in flood dragon robes. They continuously launched fatal attacks at them, killing them one by one. At this time, of the experts from the 9 Heavens Divine Kingdom that came to kill Tianji and the others, only the green-robed old man was left. The others were all killed by Song Kuan Wu and the others. "Do you really want to fight to the death with my 9 Heavens Divine Kingdom?" The green-robed old man, who had burned his lifespan and fought with all his strength, was still unable to block Song Kuan Wu's attacks. Perhaps in the near future, the 9 Heavens Divine Kingdom will no longer exist. Yi Chunfeng coldly said and continued to attack him. It's over." With a thought, Song Kuan Wu controlled the 9 Dragon Jade Annulus that suppressed the void and smashed down like a mountain towards the green-robed old man who was unable to dodge. Boom! Under the fatal attack of the 9 Dragon Jade Annulus, the green-robed elder's continuous defensive trump cards were shattered. The Jade Annulus that released a terrifying dragon power shattered his arms and smashed into his head, causing him to explode and kill him on the spot. Borrowing the strength of everyone, Yi Chunfeng killed all the experts from the 9 Heavens Divine Kingdom with lightning speed. He took away their belongings and sent Song Kuan Wu and the others into the universe realm. He then flew out of the heavenly mountain with extreme speed. Mobile reading site, book address, In order to make it easier for you to read this book next time, you can click the Save button at the bottom to record this book. You will be able to see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 1372. It was Fifth Brother. Fifth Brother had come out. Tianji and the others were waiting anxiously outside the Sky Mountain Island while healing their wounds. When they saw a golden light streak across the sky and flew towards them at an extremely fast speed, they felt relieved. Watermark advertisement test Fifth Brother, where are the people of the Nine Heavens God Nation? Black Tortoise asked in confusion when he saw that no one was chasing after Yi Chunfeng. However, he didn't think that Yi Chunfeng had killed all the masters of the Nine Heavens God Nation. They are already dead, Yi Chunfeng said with a smile. Dead? Black Tortoise gasped. He couldn't believe that Yi Chunfeng could kill the Nirvana Heavenly Realm Masters. Fifth Brother, thanks to you this time. Without your help, we wouldn't have been able to destroy the heavenly vein root of the Nine Heavens God Nation so smoothly. Tianji looked deeply at Yi Chunfeng, who he couldn't see through. However, as a smart person, he didn't ask about Yi Chunfeng's secrets. Big Brother, these 4 quasi-saint treasures are for you. Yi Chunfeng took out the 4 quasi-saint treasures he got from killing the white-haired old woman and gave them to Ghostface and the others. However, Tianji didn't accept them. Fifth Brother, the quasi-saint treasures are not very useful to me. You can keep them. Tianji shook his head and didn't mention the heavenly jewel again. Fifth Brother, are you coming back to Burial Valley with us? Black Tortoise fondled the quasi-saint treasure talisman Yi Chunfeng gave him and asked. I'm not going back to Burial Valley for now. There were only a few days left before the 3-year agreement with Shui Hanyan. Yi Chunfeng didn't dare to waste any more time and shook his head. Qingfeng, do you need our help? After the destruction of the heavenly vein root, Tianji thought more highly of Yi Chunfeng and asked. I don't need it now. When I need it, I will contact Big Brother and the others. Yi Chunfeng shook his head. Okay, then we will go back to Burial Valley. Tianji didn't force him. He said slowly, remember, we are your strongest support. If you encounter any trouble that you can't solve, you must let us know. Thank you, Big Brother. Yi Chunfeng nodded and felt warm in his heart. Fifth Brother, take care. Tianji, Ghostface, and the others bid farewell to Yi Chunfeng and flew away from the chaotic Sky Mountain Island. It's time to go to the Holy Kingdom of Yamada. After Tianji and the rest left, Yi Chunfeng summoned the spirit boat and steered it across the 9 heavens, crossing an extremely vast area and flying in the direction of 8-Point Imperial City. On the way to 8-Point Royal City, Yi Chunfeng checked his spoils of war. He obtained the Heaven-Suppressing Pearl, 2 low-grade Saint Swords, 4 Quasi-Saint Swords, 1 Quasi-Saint Artifact, the Green Heaven Secret Art Cultivation Jade Scroll, several Quasi-Saint Pellets, dozens of Ancient Tao Pellets, a large number of Heaven and Earth spiritual items, 12 mid-grade Heaven Crystals, more than 40 low-grade Heaven Crystals, and countless Supreme-grade Soul Crystals. With 2 low-grade Holy Swords and 4 Quasi-Holy Swords, the power of the Cosmos Sword formation could be increased again. Yi Chunfeng was very satisfied with his gains, especially the Heaven-Suppressing Pearl that was suspected to be a mid-grade Saint artifact. It was especially precious. He planned to refine it into the Shinjua Meridian at his navel to increase his strength. Biting his finger, Yi Chunfeng forced his blood essence into the Heaven-Suppressing Pearl and forced it to recognize him as its owner. Buzz. After fusing with Yi Chunfeng's blood essence, a powerful soul energy surged out of the Heaven-Suppressing Pearl. Like a surging tide, it rushed into Yi Chunfeng's sea of soul, turning into an old face that roared at the sky. God-Eater Brain, devour! Before the old face could attack Yi Chunfeng's sea of soul and devour his soul, the God-Eater Brain appeared and turned into a terrifying devouring black hole. It crushed the old face and devoured all the soul energy that surged out of the Heaven-Suppressing Pearl. After devouring all the soul energy in the heaven-suppressing pearl, the God-Eater brain split a large number of brain cells. The heaven-suppressing pearl also stopped moving and slowly fused with the blood essence that flowed out of Yi Qinfeng's fingertip. Sure enough, this heaven-suppressing pearl was a mid-grade saint artifact. After recognizing him as its owner, Yi Qinfeng learned the information of the heaven-suppressing pearl. The heaven-suppressing pearl was a mid-grade saint artifact that contained vast heavenly power. Once fused, it could increase one's strength and have a powerful soul-suppressing power. Heaven-suppressing pearl fuse. Yi Qinfeng endured the pain and cut open the skin outside the Xinjue meridian and fused it into the Xinjue meridian to refine. When he was refining the heaven-suppressing pearl with all his strength, the chaos divine wood that had devoured part of the heavenly root's energy began to release pure energy that fused into his body and increased his strength. At the same time, the entire Nine Heavens Divine Kingdom learned about the attack on Sky Mountain Island and fell into a rage. Who was so bold to destroy the heavenly root in Sky Mountain Island and kill Elder Zhan and the others? The Nine Heavens Divine Nation's Divine Emperor Dao Ju, who was wearing a golden dragon robe and had the aura of a king, roared furiously when he heard about what happened on Sky Mountain Island. Reporting to the Divine Emperor, there is still no news from Elder Jiang and the others who rushed to the rescue. A middle-aged man in golden armor knelt in the middle of the royal palace with his head lowered and said in fear, "Mobilize all forces to investigate. I want to know the identity of those people. I want to exterminate their 9 generations." The killing intent in Di Dao Ju's eyes grew stronger and stronger. Destroying the heavenly root was equivalent to breaking the foundation of the Nine Heavens Divine Kingdom. It was also a public provocation of their divine might. If they couldn't kill the enemy, the Nine Heavens Divine Kingdom's might would be affected. Divine Emperor, the latest news from Sky Mountain Island came. Just when the atmosphere in the royal palace was so oppressive that it was hard to breathe, another man in golden armor rushed in and knelt on the ground. His voice trembled slightly as he said, "Tell me, Elder Jiang. Did Elder Jiang and the others catch the culprit?" Di Dao Ju asked in a low voice with a gloomy face. News came from Sky Mountain Island. Elder Jiang and the others were annihilated. The enemy took the heaven-suppressing pearl and left without a trace. The golden-armored man, kneeling on the ground, reported the news he had received. What? Hearing this news, everyone present was dumbfounded. How could it be? Elder Jiang and Elder Xian were Nirvana Heavenly Realm experts. How could they be killed? Could it be the people of Octahead Divine Kingdom or Kirin Kingdom? Those who offend my Nine Heavens Divine Kingdom will be killed. The Golden Palace suddenly exploded. The Nine Heavens Divine Kingdom's experts were filled with righteous indignation. The entire Golden Palace fell into chaos. "Shut up, all of you, shut up!" Di Dao Ju, with a gloomy expression, smashed the armrest of the golden dragon head with a palm and shouted majestically. Seeing Di Dao Ju angry, the noisy Golden Palace suddenly quieted down. "Investigate thoroughly. Even if you have to go to heaven or earth, you must find the culprit and take back the heaven-suppressing pearl." The heaven-suppressing pearl was extremely important to the Nine Heavens Divine Kingdom. The Nine Heavens Divine Kingdom had a total of 9 heaven-suppressing pearls, which suppressed the 9 heavenly veins. When the 9 heaven-suppressing pearls fused together, they could form a top-grade holy treasure, the heaven-suppressing plate. It was one of the 9 Heavens Divine Kingdom's national treasures. Now that they lost the heaven-suppressing pearl, it was equivalent to the 9 Heavens Divine Kingdom losing a top-grade holy artifact. It weakened their foundation. The 9 Heavens Divine Kingdom couldn't afford such a loss. The news of the 9 Heavens Divine Kingdom's heavenly vein root being destroyed and the deaths of 3 Nirvana Heavenly Realm experts spread like the wind through the central world. Especially the Octahead Divine Kingdom and Kirin Kingdom were shocked. They were all guessing the identity of the culprit. While the central world was in an uproar, the 9 Heavens Divine Kingdom's experts were on the move to search for the culprit. Yi Chunfeng drove the spirit boat and left the 9 Heavens Divine Kingdom. Shui Hanyan, I've come as promised. Mobile reading site, book address. For the convenience of your next reading, you can click on the Save button below to record your reading record. Next time you open the bookshelf, you will see it. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 1373. The Yamata Royal City was one of the most famous cities in the Central World. It was located at the source of the Yamata Divine Nation's spirit veins. It was surrounded by spirit mountains, and the spirit energy in the air was abnormally dense. Watermark advertisement test. Watermark advertisement test is expected of the capital of the Yamata Divine Nation. The scale of the city was even larger than the Fire God City. Yi Chunfeng came to the outside of the Yamata Royal City alone. Looking at the uncanny workmanship and the majestic Yamata Divine Nation, he couldn't help but sigh. Walking along a straight road into the Yamata Royal City, Yi Chunfeng found that there were many experts on the street. Combat beast emperors could be seen everywhere, and even Nirvana realm experts could be seen. It was late and the Yamata Royal City was too big. Yi Chunfeng decided to stay for the night and go to the Yamata Royal Palace tomorrow morning to propose marriage to the Yamata Divine Emperor. Purple Bamboo Inn, let's stay here tonight. After walking for a short distance, a beautiful purple bamboo forest entered Yi Chunfeng's eyes. Furthermore, in the purple bamboo forest, there was a 3-story tall inn made of ancient wood. It had an ancient feel to it, and it was very quiet. Just as he entered the inn, a burst of noise entered his ears. At this moment, 2 diners in the purple bamboo inn were discussing the annihilation of the Heavenly Mountain Island and the fall of 3 Nirvana Heavenly Realm experts. Brother Su, have you heard? Someone exterminated one of the 9 Heavens Divine Nation's heavenly vein roots, and even killed 3 Nirvana Heavenly Realm experts of the nation. A slightly skinny man in a white martial arts suit with a beard and round eyes said softly. He was wearing a white martial arts suit and had a sneaky look in his eyes. What's the big deal? He must have heard about it. Sitting opposite him was a man in a blue robe, with a goatee and slightly white hair. He picked up a mouthful of food and said, Brother Su, which faction do you think did this? The skinny man poured himself a cup of wine and asked. It's hard to say. The blue-robed man shook his head and said, but there aren't many factions in the Central World that have the ability to kill 3 Nirvana Realm experts. Maybe this fuse will trigger a fierce battle between the 3 divine nations. Brother Su, are you suspecting that this matter is related to my Hakone Kingdom or the Kirin Kingdom? The thin man's eyes lit up as he asked in a low voice. Shu, don't talk nonsense. If the Orochi royal family's people hear it, you and I will die. The blue-robed man's countenance changed slightly. Changing the topic, he said, That's right, I heard that a batch of good goods will come to Ingui little shop tonight. Let's go have a look. Maybe we can find some treasures. The thin and small man nodded and said, Let's go for a stroll after we eat. Evil Ghost Store, an interesting name. Yi Chunfeng, who was sitting by the window, heard the conversation between the two and showed a trace of interest in the so-called Ghost shop. When they left, he quietly followed them and came to a remote location on the outskirts of the city. The light was dim, and it was emitting a thick qi. It was somewhat eerie. Although the ancient courtyard in front of him revealed a trace of strangeness, there was no lack of experts with extraordinary strength and wearing gorgeous clothes going in and out, choosing treasures. When Yi Chunfeng walked into the ancient courtyard filled with qi and followed the blue-robed man to a shabby old house, he saw an old man in a linen robe with messy hair lying on a bamboo chair. In front of him, there was a long table that was several feet long with badly peeling paint. On the table were dozens of strangely shaped treasures stained with mud. Judging from the qi and the mud stained by these treasures were most likely some burial objects that the old man in front of him stole from tombs. An expert. At the first sight of the old man in linen robe, Yi Chunfeng's pupils could not help but shrink. He did not expect that this extremely sloppy old man in front of him was actually a Nirvana heavenly realm expert. The central world was indeed full of crouching tigers and hidden dragons. There were too many experts, Yi Chunfeng muttered to himself. He cast his gaze on the dozens of strangely shaped burial objects and controlled the God-Eater brain to sense them. A mid-grade saint artifact fragment the God-Eater brain sensed for a while, and Yi Chunfeng's gaze locked onto a plump man wearing a dark golden robe. He narrowed his eyes, and in his hand was a fist-sized piece of black metal with 2 winding ancient patterns on it. After repeatedly sensing it with the God-Eater brain, Yi Chunfeng confirmed that this piece of black metal was a mid-grade saint artifact fragment of extraordinary quality. Ghost, I want this piece of black metal. Name a price. After repeatedly appraising it several times, the plump man's narrowed eyes shone brightly as he asked, 30 low-grade heaven crystals? The old man in linen robe raised his eyes slightly and glanced at the plump man. He said with a hoarse voice, why is this crappy piece of metal so expensive? Heaven crystals were extremely rare in the central world. Even with the plump man's extraordinary status, he felt pained to take out 30 low-grade heaven crystals all at once. He frowned. Do you think a mid-grade saint artifact fragment is expensive? The old man in linen robe asked emotionlessly. This crappy piece of metal is a mid-grade saint artifact fragment? Many people's eyes lit up when they heard the old man's words. They all looked at the saint artifact fragment in the plump man's hand. Are you buying it or not? If not, then put it down. Don't waste eyes' time. The old man in linen robe warned coldly. All right, I'll buy it. Although low-grade heaven crystals were rare, mid-grade saint artifact fragments were similarly valuable. If they were fused into armor, they could greatly increase the armor's defensive power. In the end, he clenched his teeth and took out 30 low-grade heaven crystals to trade for the mid-grade saint artifact fragment. The plump man bought the saint artifact fragment from the old man in linen robe. A few other people chose treasures they liked and spent quite a bit of money to buy the treasures. How much is this piece of wood? Through the god-devouring brain's repeated deductions, Yi Chunfeng locked onto an ancient tree that was as thick as a child's arm and seemed to have been eaten by worms. It was filled with faint yin qi, and its surface was full of potholes. 10 low-grade heaven crystals, the old man in linen robes said coldly. Can I trade top-grade soul crystals? Although Yi Chunfeng had obtained some heaven crystals after killing the Nirvana Realm Master, he had fused all of them into the sword puppet's body. Now, he didn't have any left. Top-grade soul crystals are useless to me. I only want heaven crystals, the old man in linen robes said emotionlessly. I'll buy this piece of wood. Just as Yi Chunfeng was about to barter for this piece of wood that had piqued his interest, a haughty voice rang out. A man wearing a gorgeous robe and exuding a noble aura walked to Yi Chunfeng's side with an arrogant expression on his face. I saw this piece of wood first, didn't I? Yi Chunfeng frowned slightly, looked at the man in the luxurious robe, and said in a low voice. So what? The man in the luxurious robe said disdainfully. Do you have any low-grade heaven crystals to buy it? If not, get the hell out of here. Don't embarrass yourself here. Although I don't have any low-grade heaven crystals, I do have this thing. Can I trade for this piece of wood? Yi Chunfeng suppressed the killing intent in his heart. With a move of his mind, he took out the death datura, which was filled with dense death energy from the universe mirror. Death datura, you actually have such a spiritual item? The old man in linen robes' turbid eyes lit up. He stood up from the bamboo chair and said with slight surprise, Give me the death datura, and this piece of wood is yours. Thank you very much. Yi Chunfeng smiled slightly and gave the death datura to the old man in linen robe. Under the furious gaze of the man in the luxurious robe, he traded for this piece of wood that interested him. Mobile reading site, book address, To facilitate your next reading, you can click on the Save button below to record this reading record. Next time you open the bookshelf, you can see it. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 1374. Junior, do you have any other good things? If you do, I can make a deal with you alone. Seeing Yi Chunfeng casually take out the Death Devil's snare to make a deal, the old man in sackcloth became very interested in him and asked, Junior has a lot of good things, let's see if Senior has any treasures that can move me. Yi Chunfeng smiled and said proudly. His tone was not small, but I like it. The old man in sackcloth's eyes lit up, and a thought-provoking smile appeared on his wrinkled face. He said, Well, today's business is over. Except for this kid, everyone else get out. You. Hearing the old man's words, many people with extraordinary status showed anger. I will count to 3, whoever doesn't get out, I will slap him to death. The old man in sackcloth's face instantly changed, and a force beyond everyone's imagination spread out from his body. This momentum was so strong that it made everyone present suffocate, and their faces changed dramatically. This evil ghost was a Nirvana Heavenly Realm master. The people in the shop were all shocked by the old man's strength, and didn't dare to stay for long, so they left with their tails between their legs. Okay, now it's quiet. After driving everyone away, the hemp-robed old man quickly made several complicated hand signs, sealing off the entire store. He scratched his bird nest-like hair and said, Kid, take out the treasures on your body and let me take a look. See if there's anything I like. Yi Chunfeng shook his head and said unmoved, I said, if Senior has treasures that interest me, I will give Senior what you like. The old man in sackcloth's pupils shrank, and repeatedly looked at Yi Chunfeng, who was calm and didn't show a trace of fear. He revealed a rare smile and said, Well, let's see I's treasures first. With that, the old man in sackcloth's Qianquan ring on his finger flashed, and dozens of precious treasures appeared, floating in front of Yi Chunfeng. Looking at the valuable treasures in front of him, Yi Chunfeng closed his eyes and controlled the god-eating brain to quickly deduce the real situation of these treasures. The hemp-robed old man didn't urge Yi Chunfeng. He leaned back in his bamboo chair and looked at him, patiently waiting. After about half an incense stick's worth of time, Yi Chunfeng opened his eyes and looked at a beast's skin that was slightly rough and covered in scales, as well as a completely blood-red medicinal pill. He said, These 2 things are not bad, I want them. Brat, you have good eyesight. This beast's skin is shed by a mid-grade saint beast, the ancient barbarian snake. Its defensive strength is comparable to an ordinary low-grade saint artifact battle armor. As for this blood-red pill, it is a low-grade saint artifact bloodline pill. After consuming it, it can increase the strength of one's bloodline. What are you going to use to exchange for them? Asked the old man with a smile. How about this 9-star lotus seed? With a thought, Yi Chunfeng took out an extremely precious 9-star lotus seed. You have the 9-star lotus seed. The hemp-robed old man's deep eyes shone brighter than the stars. He said excitedly, Give me the 9-star lotus seed. Let me take a good look. Yi Chunfeng nodded and handed the sealed 9-star lotus seed to the hemp-robed old man. It really was a 9-star lotus seed, and a mature one at that. After examining it several times, the hemp-robed old man's wrinkles relaxed. He said excitedly, Junior, do you have any more 9-star lotus seeds? If you do, give them all to me. I promise to give you a satisfying treasure. I only have 1 9-star lotus seed. Although Yi Chunfeng still had 2 9-star lotus seeds, they were too precious. They were enough to make a Nirvana Realm master pay any price for them. Therefore, he intentionally kept the remaining 2 9-star lotus seed. He shook his head. Okay, I want this 9-star lotus seed. If you can take out another treasure, this ancient barbarian snake skin and bloodline pill will be yours. The hemp-robed old man said. Senior, I think you know the value of the 9-star lotus seed better than me. It is more than enough to exchange for the ancient barbarian snake's skin and bloodline pill. Yi Chunfeng didn't take out any more precious treasures. He insisted on exchanging the 9-star lotus seed for the ancient barbarian snake's skin and bloodline pill. What if I don't agree? The hemp-robed old man frowned and asked coldly. If you don't agree, then I won't do this deal. Yi Chunfeng replied slowly. Aren't you afraid that I will take the 9-star lotus seed and not give it to you? The hemp-robed old man said with a faint smile. Since I dared to take out the 9-star lotus seed, I am not afraid of being robbed by you. Yi Chunfeng smiled and replied overbearingly, If you don't believe me, you can try. Interesting, really interesting. The hemp-robed old man looked at Yi Chunfeng, who was calm and unperturbed. He pondered for a moment and said, This 9-star lotus seed is indeed very important to I. Forget it, I will suffer a little loss and make this deal with you. With that, he gave the ancient barbarian snake skin and bloodline pill to Yi Chunfeng. Thank you very much. After receiving the ancient barbarian snake skin and bloodline pill, Yi Chunfeng didn't stay for long. After thanking him, he easily passed through the hemp-robed old man's restriction and left the gloomy Een Ghost store. Well, there are still people waiting for me. As soon as he walked out of the Een Ghost store, Yi Chunfeng couldn't help but frown. His powerful soul sensed that the man in the magnificent robe, who didn't buy the ancient wood just now, was waiting for him outside the store with several powerful experts. Kid, I've been waiting for you for a long time. You finally came out. Looking at Yi Chunfeng, who was slowly walking out under the moonlight, the man in the magnificent robe's flat eyes shot out a sinister light. He blocked Yi Chunfeng's path and said coldly, Get out of here if you don't want to die. Yi Chunfeng indifferently glanced at the man in the magnificent robe and the others, and coldly warned, Damn it, don't you know who I am? The man in the magnificent robe didn't expect Yi Chunfeng to be so arrogant and insult him as soon as he opened his mouth. His face instantly turned gloomy and said, You offended me. No matter how powerful you are, don't even think about leaving Orochi Imperial City alive. I'll count to 3, whoever doesn't get out of here, I'll kill him. Yi Chunfeng was unmoved. He said with a murderous aura and gave the last ultimatum. You're courting death. Behind the man in the magnificent robe, a tall and burly man with thick black hair all over his body, whose strength had reached the peak of the 6th-level combat beast emperor, roared. He released a black demonic aura, which fluctuated the void. He waved his bowl-sized fist full of destructive power and punched towards Yi Chunfeng. Bang! Yi Chunfeng took a step forward. The power of his 5 acupoints erupted. More than 100 million Jin of power poured into his fist. With one punch, he shattered the incoming demonic aura and shattered the burly man's fist light. Like a tide, the power that erupted in an instant directly shook him into the air. With a painful howl, he turned into a blood mist and died on the spot. What? Witnessing the scene of Yi Chunfeng blowing up the burly man with one punch, the man in the magnificent robe couldn't help but tremble. He opened his eyes wide and couldn't believe what he saw. Since you don't cherish the chance to live, then die, Yi Chunfeng said with killing intent. Boundless sword intent poured out from his body. His entire demeanor changed in an instant. He was like a sharp sword that had been unsheathed, scaring the man in luxurious robes and the others so much that they felt like their guts were going to explode. Mobile reading site, book address. In order to facilitate your next reading, you can click on the Save button below to record this reading record. Next time you open the bookshelf, you will see it. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 1375. Kid, don't kill in front of I's door. Suddenly, a blurry figure appeared in front of Yi Chunfeng and blocked his way. Watermark advertisement test. Watermark advertisement test. Why? Do you want to save them? Yi Chunfeng frowned slightly as he looked at the hemp-robed old man with astonishing strength blocking his path. Then, he spoke in a deep voice. Little brat, although I don't know who you are, this is the imperial city of 8 branches and they are members of the royal family. It is not wise for you to start a massacre here. The old man shook his head and advised, What are you waiting for? Get the hell out of here. Yes. The man in luxurious robes gulped and glared bitterly at Yi Chunfeng. Then, he led his subordinates and left dejectedly. Do you think they will let it go if I let them go? Yi Chunfeng's eyes flashed with cold light as he looked at the slovenly linen-robed elder and asked coldly, Don't worry, kid, leave this to me. I promise they won't trouble you. Hearing Yi Chunfeng's unfriendly tone, the linen-robed elder wasn't angry and promised with a smile. No, I can deal with it myself. Yi Chunfeng shook his head and refused, but if you dare to interfere again, don't blame me for being rude. After that, Yi Chunfeng ignored the linen-robed elder's gloomy face and turned to leave. Who is this kid? Looking at Yi Chunfeng's back disappearing into the night, the linen-robed elder frowned. He really wanted to know what Yi Chunfeng relied on to dare threaten him. But as someone who had lived for countless years, he indeed smelled a trace of danger from Yi Chunfeng. This was also the reason why he didn't get angry even after being humiliated repeatedly. Walking in the dark back to the Purple Bamboo Inn, Yi Chunfeng stopped and looked at the bamboo forest in the dark. A murderous light flashed in his eyes. As the night deepened, Yi Chunfeng returned to his room and entered the universe mirror. He took out the bloodline pill he had obtained from the linen-robed elder and gave it to the spirit fish. The reason why Yi Chunfeng didn't keep the bloodline pill was because he knew that the bloodline pill was more effective for Xiantian bloodlines. His bloodline was transplanted after birth, so even if he took the bloodline pill, the effects wouldn't be obvious. The skin of a mid-tier sacred beast, the ancient barbarian snake, was really good stuff. Compared to the bloodline pill, the ancient barbarian snake's skin was more attractive to him. Although his physical body was strong enough, as his strength increased, he would face greater challenges. He urgently needed an inner armor, and this ancient barbarian snake's skin was a good material for refining inner armor. As long as he refined it slightly to get rid of the remaining demonic chi in the snakeskin and mixed it with some refining materials, the defense of the ancient barbarian snakeskin would probably surpass the golden dragon robe. If he wore the golden dragon robe and the ancient barbarian snake skin at the same time, he estimated that only a mid-grade sacred treasure and a top-grade nirvana heavenly realm expert would be able to injure him. Ordinary sacred treasures would not be a threat to him. When he had time, he had to properly refine the ancient barbarian snake skin. Time was limited, so Yi Chunfeng didn't immediately refine the ancient barbarian snake skin. He sat cross-legged in the universe mirror and absorbed the rich spiritual energy. Soon, dawn arrived. You guys really came. At the first glimmer of dawn, Yi Chunfeng's powerful soul passed through the universe mirror and sensed more than a dozen powerful auras outside the Purple Bamboo Inn. This alarmed many people and scared the Purple Bamboo Inn's shopkeeper. She was a voluptuous and charming young woman, wearing a deep purple qipao. She was trembling. Damn, your Purple Bamboo Inn is really daring to harbor criminals. Do you believe that I won't tear down your Purple Bamboo Inn and throw them in the heavenly prison? The man in the luxurious robe, who had been frightened last night, seemed to have changed into a different person. He stood tall and arrogant as he looked at the charming young woman and coldly warned her. Behind him stood more than a dozen majestic demon royal guards wearing golden armor and holding Taoist weapons. They were the demon royal guards of the Orochi royal family. Looking at the charming young woman who was like a peach, exuding endless charm, the man in the luxurious robe's flat eyes revealed a trace of passion and evil thoughts arose in his heart. Young master, I didn't know there was a criminal living here. If I had known, I wouldn't have dared to take him in even if I had 100 times the courage. The charming young woman bowed and kept explaining. Her hanging collar revealed a deep cleavage and too snow-white softness, which deeply attracted the man in the luxurious robe's eyes and made him have an impulse to tear her clothes. "So, I wronged you?" The man in the luxurious robe revealed a trace of evil smile and asked with evil intentions. "No, no, I didn't mean that." The charming young woman's face was slightly pale and her heart was nervous. She explained, "Young master, this is all my fault. As long as you are willing to let us go, I promise to thank you." The man in the luxurious robe revealed a trace of evil smile and said, "How do you want to thank me? What do you want? As long as I have it, I will give it to you." The charming young woman knew the horror of the demon imperial guards. If she offended them, there would be no place for her in the imperial city. In desperation, she could only grit her teeth and said, "What if I want you?" The man in the luxurious robe looked at her full body and said directly, "If you are willing to let us go, I promise to serve you for 3 days." The charming young woman slightly raised her head and met the man in the luxurious robe's burning eyes. She gently bit her lips and said in humiliation, "Ha ha, as expected of a smart person." The man in the luxurious robe laughed and said complacently, "Follow me. I promise that no one in the imperial city will dare to provoke you." The man in the luxurious robe's arrogant voice had just fallen when an illusory figure appeared in front of him. The next moment, he felt a pain in his cheek and his whole body completely lost control. His body flew out in the air and fiercely smashed into the demon imperial guards behind him. A lot of blood and broken teeth flowed out of his mouth, and he was in so much pain that tears almost flowed out of his eyes. This sudden scene stunned everyone, and the charming woman was even more frightened. Her mind went blank. "I didn't expect that you would dare to provoke me. Today, no one can save you." After slapping the man in the luxurious robe, Yi Chunfeng put his hands behind his back and looked at him in silence. His cold voice sentenced him to death. What are you doing in a daze? Catch him for me. I want to skin him alive and grind his bones into ashes." Covering his collapsed cheek, the man in the luxurious robe grimaced in pain and roared loudly with tears streaming down his face. "Just by you?" Yi Chunfeng sneered. The killing intent of blood and bones intertwined and poured out of his body. Feeling the killing intent emitted by Yi Chunfeng, more than a dozen demon imperial guards inexplicably panicked, as if they were facing the god of death. Kill him!" Seeing that Yi Chunfeng had intimidated the demon imperial guards with his killing intent and was walking over with heavy steps, the man in the luxurious robe let out a frightened cry and ordered loudly. Cold sweat broke out on his forehead. The man in the luxurious robe had an extraordinary background. Hearing his order, more than a dozen demon imperial guards ignited their powerful bloodline power and braced themselves to attack Yi Chunfeng. They wanted to join forces and severely injure him. Crack! Yi Chunfeng suddenly exerted force under his feet and shattered the ground. Multitudinous sword Dao diagrams appeared under his feet and intertwined into dense sword Dao patterns, attacking the demon imperial guards who were close to him. Although the strength of these demon imperial guards was extraordinary, and their combined attack was enough to severely injure a Nirvana realm cultivator, Yi Chunfeng's understanding of the Tao of Sword was too deep, and the power of the Tao of Sword he produced was too great. In the blink of an eye, the endless sword Tao patterns, like flying feathers, crushed their attacks and pierced through their bodies. They fell into a pool of blood in pain and died. Mobile reading site, book address. For the convenience of your next reading, you can click on the bookmark button at the bottom to record this reading. You will see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 1376. Don't come here. Seeing Yi Chunfeng turn into a sword diagram and kill more than 10 demon imperial guards, the man in luxurious robe was scared silly. His legs trembled violently as he shouted in horror. Watermark advertisement test. Watermark advertisement test. Where's your aggressiveness? Didn't you want to kill me? Yi Chunfeng looked at the frightened man in luxurious robe and said coldly. The man in luxurious robe, didn't expect Yi Chunfeng to be so bold that he even dared to kill the demon imperial guards who belonged to the Orochi royal family. His heart was filled with panic, and he wanted to escape quickly. "Don't hurt young Master Shi." Suddenly, an angry roar sounded. A tall and sturdy man in golden armor with a full beard flew over and stood in front of the man in luxurious robe, who was scared out of his wits. "Commander Jean, save me!" Seeing the sudden appearance of the man in golden armor, the man in luxurious robe was overjoyed and shouted excitedly. Nirvana felt the strength of the man in golden armor. Yi Chunfeng shook his head and said, "You can't save him. How dare you? This is the Orochi royal city. Do you want to provoke the imperial power of the Orochi kingdom?" Seeing the disdain in Yi Chunfeng's eyes, the man in golden armor roared with anger in his heart. "If people don't offend me, I won't offend them. He provoked me again and again, so he must die," Yi Chunfeng said coldly. "Young Master Shi, leave here quickly. I'll deal with him." Feeling the killing intent emitted by Yi Chunfeng, the man in golden armor smelled the dangerous aura. Holding a top-grade Taoist weapon-level saber, he looked at Yi Chunfeng as if he was facing a formidable enemy. "I said you can't save him." With that, Yi Chunfeng's feet flashed, increasing his speed by 4 times. He instantly disappeared in front of the man in golden armor and appeared in front of the man in golden armor, whose hair stood on end and heart stopped beating. "Remember, there are some people you can't afford to offend," Yi Chunfeng said coldly. He used his hand as a sword, and a force of more than 100 million kilograms burst forth, tearing through the air and directly chopping the man in luxurious robes, who was shouting in fear and defending with all his might, in half. Blood and internal organs scattered all over the ground, making one tremble in fear. Young Master Shi, the golden-armored man, didn't expect Yi Chunfeng to be so daring as to kill the eldest young master of the Marquis Yu residence in front of everyone. Sensing the severity of the situation, he erupted with fury and locked onto Yi Chunfeng. If he couldn't capture Yi Chunfeng alive and hand him over to Marquis Mou, what awaited him would be the most ferocious revenge from sword power. The beautiful woman was scared silly by the scene in front of her. Her legs went soft and she directly sat on the ground. She didn't even notice the spring scenery between her legs. "Go to hell!" the golden-armored man roared. His powerful bloodline burned, and 2 Tao diagrams appeared on his body, raising his strength to the peak. He held a golden saber in his hand, interweaving powerful Tao patterns, and slashed at Yi Chunfeng. Just as Yi Chunfeng was about to be struck by the saber, a mysterious sword diagram appeared under his feet. He disappeared in front of the golden-armored man and circled behind him. In the next moment, Yi Chunfeng's soul-spirit power erupted, forming a terrifying dizziness that blasted into his soul sea. His soul-spirit trembled, and his reaction became slightly sluggish. "Bronze sword soul, extinguish!" The bronze sword soul flew out of Yi Chunfeng's soul sea and turned into an invincible divine sword. It evolved a powerful sword Tao power and broke through the golden-armored man's defense, killing him on the spot. After killing the man in luxurious robe and the others in front of everyone, Yi Chunfeng took away their belongings. His body flashed slightly, and he disappeared into the purple bamboo forest that was filled with a thick smell of blood. Soon, the news of Yi Chunfeng killing the man in luxurious robe, the commander of the demon imperial guards, and the others spread like the wind in 8 divergent imperial city, setting off a huge commotion. Large batches of demon imperial guards were mobilized, searching the entire city for Yi Chunfeng. All the experts of Marquis Demon Yu's residence were mobilized. They were determined to kill Yi Chunfeng and take revenge for the man in luxurious robe and the others. "It's him! It's him! He killed young Master Shi!" When Yi Chunfeng slowly walked towards the center of 8 divergent imperial city, more than a dozen demon imperial guards discovered him and surrounded him. "How dare you! You better surrender now. A commander of the demon Imperial Guards, who was riding on a dragon horse and wearing heavy golden armor and holding a 1-foot-long spear, glared at Yi Chunfeng and scolded loudly. He had just converted to the Nirvana realm not long ago. I don't want to start a massacre. I hope you won't force me. Yi Chunfeng looked coldly at the dozens of demon Imperial Guards surrounding him, ignoring them and continuing to move forward. Seeing Yi Chunfeng getting closer and closer, and sensing the murderous aura emanating from him, the demon Imperial Guards who were blocking him with their bodies shuddered and retreated uncontrollably. Get out of the way! Just when the demon Imperial Guards were intimidated by Yi Chunfeng's aura, Yi Chunfeng roared and gave an irresistible order. His thunderous voice scared the demon Imperial Guards into retreating quickly, opening a path for him. Trash, a bunch of trash. Seeing Yi Chunfeng frightening his subordinates with just a few words, the commander of the demon Imperial Guards was so angry that his face turned ashen. His entire body merged with the dragon horse under his feet as he waved his incomparably sharp spear. In an instant, more than 100 spear shadows interweaved and enveloped Yi Chunfeng. Swoosh! An ear-piercing sound pierced through the air. The bronze sword soul flew out of Yi Chunfeng's sea of soul and turned into an invincible sword light in the void. The sword light shattered the spear shadows enveloping Yi Chunfeng. Under the horrified gaze of the commander of the demon Imperial Guards, the bronze sword soul chopped down. Feeling the terror of the bronze sword soul, the commander of the demon Imperial Guards immediately used several defensive trump cards to defend himself, trying to fend off the attack of the bronze sword soul. However, the bronze sword soul was too powerful, and its attacking speed was faster than lightning. It was impossible for him to defend himself. Puff, puff. With a series of shattering sounds, the guard commander's defensive trump cards were shattered one after another. The terrifying bronze sword spirit pierced through his defense like a hot knife through butter, splitting him and the dragon horse under him into two halves. Blood splattered all over the ground. Witnessing Yi Chunfeng killing the commander of the demon Imperial Guards with one strike, the demon Imperial Guards were even more terrified. They retreated one after another, not daring to get close to him. Yi Chunfeng coldly glanced at the demon Imperial Guards, who were like birds startled by the twang of a bow. He didn't start a massacre and was about to leave. Do you still want to leave after killing someone? A furious roar rang out. A middle-aged man who looked similar to the man in the luxurious robe appeared with dozens of demon Imperial Guards with terrifying auras. He wore a black robe embroidered with qilin and a pair of golden scaled boots. His hair was slightly white, and he looked somewhat similar to the man in the luxurious robe. This man was Marquis Mou, who had been personally conferred the title by the Emperor of the Eight Branches. If I want to leave, you can't stop me, Yi Chunfeng said coldly as he looked at Marquis Mou, who was filled with killing intent with a sharp gaze. What big words! No one has ever dared to be so arrogant in my Eight Branches Imperial City. It seems like you don't put my Eight Branches Imperial family in your eyes. Looking at the calm and collected Yi Chunfeng, Marquis Mou felt that he was extraordinary. However, he had to avenge his son. He was a cunning old fox who had implicated the Eight Branches Imperial family. I have no interest in arguing with you about right and wrong. If you have any problems, come to my residence and find me. I will give you an explanation. Thinking of the purpose of his visit, Yi Chunfeng took a deep breath and suppressed the killing intent in his heart. Marquis Mou's eyes widened, and his expression changed instantly. Although he was a marquis of the Eight Branches Imperial family and had a high status, he was still far from Marquis Mou, who held real power and had cultivated to the peak of nirvana. If Yi Chunfeng had Marquis Mou's support, it would be difficult for him to take revenge. Get lost. Just as he was hesitating, Yi Chunfeng shouted arrogantly and left calmly under Marquis Mou's furious gaze. Mobile reading site, book address, To make it easier for you to read it next time, you can click on the Save button at the bottom to record your reading record. You will see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 1377. Magic Wave Mansion. This Magic Wave King also knew how to choose a place. He built the mansion on a scenic lakeside. After asking around, Yi Chenfeng, who was extremely fast, arrived at the southern part of Octahead Imperial City. He saw from afar a building that occupied an extremely large area and was constructed extremely luxuriously. There were lofty pavilions, trees, and 2 mighty stone lions at the entrance. Stop, this is Magic Wave Mansion. Outsiders are not allowed to approach. Looking at Yi Chenfeng slowly walking over, several guards of Magic Wave Mansion emitted a terrifying aura and locked onto him, loudly warning him. I'm here to find Magic Wave King. Please report that Feng Chen has arrived. Yi Chenfeng, with his hands behind his back, stood tall and straight like a pine tree, and lightly said. Feng Chen. The guards of Magic Wave Mansion had long heard of this name. Some time ago, Magic Wave King ordered to immediately notify him when Feng Chen arrived. You wait here for a moment, I'll go inform Prince. The 4 guards of Magic Wave Mansion instantly changed their face, revealing a look of awe, and their voice revealed a trace of respect. Soon, a powerful aura appeared. Wearing a dark golden robe, Magic Wave King, with several masters of Magic Wave Mansion, immediately appeared outside the mansion to greet Yi Chenfeng. Feng Chen, you finally came. Looking at Yi Chenfeng outside the mansion, Magic Wave King's dignified face revealed a smile, quickly walked over, and enthusiastically said. Sorry, Prince, some things delayed the time. I don't know if Han Yan is well. Yi Chenfeng slightly smiled, neither arrogant nor humble said. Come, let's talk inside the mansion. With that, Magic Wave King's posture was extremely humble, and personally led Yi Chenfeng into the mansion. Prince, is Han Yan not well recently? Sitting on the chair in the main hall, Yi Chenfeng drank a mouthful of fragrant spirit tea, looked at Magic Wave King's uncertain expression, and asked. Ai Feng Chen, you are indeed a bit late. Magic Wave King gently sighed and said, I don't know if Han Yan has mentioned to you about Thousand Tribulation Sect. Yi Chenfeng put down the teacup in his hand and slowly said, What? The Myriad Tribulation Sect already came to propose? That's right, Wanjie Jiaozhu was in the Imperial Palace right now, and they came here to propose marriage to Shen Huang on behalf of his son, to marry Princess Han Yan. Demon Wave King nodded and said, Since you haven't appeared in the past 3 years, I think Shen Huang, in consideration of Wanjie Jiaozhu's feelings and face, will most likely agree. Your Highness, I wonder if you can arrange for me to go to the Imperial Palace to propose marriage. Yi Chenfeng's feelings toward Shui Hanyan were very complicated, but from the bottom of his heart, he didn't want Shui Hanyan to be wronged or hurt. No problem, I'll arrange it for you right away. Demonic Wave King nodded and said, But I'm afraid Shen Huang has already agreed to Wanjie Jiaozhu's marriage proposal. That would be troublesome. It doesn't matter. I believe that I have a way to change the Emperor's mind. Yi Chenfeng smiled and said confidently. Not good, my king, Devil Might King. Marquis Mo Yu has brought a large group of Devil Imperial Guards to lock down the King Manor, demanding my king to hand over the murderer. The housekeeper of the prince's mansion walked in hurriedly and said anxiously. Murderer? What murderer? Is this Devil Might King trying to rebel? Demonic Wave King had always been at odds with Devil Might King. When he heard that his prince's mansion was locked down by Devil Might King, he was furious and roared loudly. Your Highness, the murderer they are talking about might be me. Yi Chenfeng said slowly as he sipped his tea. Demonic Wave King frowned slightly and asked, Feng Chen, how did you offend Devil Might King? I didn't offend Devil Might King, but I had some conflicts with Marquis Mo Yu. Yi Chenfeng slowly told him what had happened. This Marquis Mo Yu was so daring that he dared to bully anyone. Demonic Wave King's face darkened as he shouted, Fengchen, with me here, no one can hurt you. Come with me and meet them. Okay. Yi Chunfeng put down his teacup and followed Demonic Wave King out of the prince's mansion. Looking at Yi Chunfeng, who appeared with Demonic Wave King, Marquis Mou frowned slightly. However, with Devil Might King's support, he felt more confident. Demonic Wave King, you are quite daring. How dare you harbor the murderer of 2 demon royal guards and the eldest son of Marquis Mou? Looking at Yi Chunfeng, who was standing beside Demonic Wave King, Demonic Wave King revealed a cold smile and said coldly. He was wearing a long robe embroidered with a dragon fish. His hair was white, and there was an obvious scar at the corner of his eye. Demonic Wave King, this matter seems to have nothing to do with you. Don't worry about it. Hearing Demonic Wave King's intention to frame him, Demonic Wave King was not angry. Marquis Mou is my man. His son was killed, so I must give him an explanation. Demonic Wave King retorted. Besides, he killed 2 demon royal guards and more than 10 demon royal guards. Demonic Wave King, I think you still don't know the ins and outs of this matter. Demonic Wave King sneered and said, Marquis Mou's son didn't have eyes. He offended someone he couldn't afford to offend. He deserved to die. Demonic Wave King, who couldn't afford to offend, sneered and said, Demonic Wave King, don't scare me. Could it be that this kid has a powerful background? Let me ask you something. Do you insist on protecting him? Yes, with me here, no one can touch him. Demonic Wave King nodded and replied domineeringly. Good. Demonic Wave King, you dare to protect a criminal who killed the demon royal guards and challenged the royal authority of our 8 branches kingdom. I think you are betraying our 8 branches kingdom. Demonic Wave King revealed a sinister smile and gave Demonic Wave King a groundless accusation. Mo Wei King, I don't think it's me who wants to betray the Octave Divine Kingdom, it's you. Mo Hao King coldly replied, Do you know how many forces in the central world want to rope in Fengchen? But you and Mou are framing him, trying to drive him out of the Octave Divine Kingdom. Fengchen is Fengchen. The news of Fengchen winning first place in the alchemy competition had spread throughout the central world. There were even rumors that Fengchen had a close relationship with Shui Hanyan. It was very likely that he would join 8 branches kingdom for her. If the Octave Divine Kingdom could rope in Fengchen, then the overall strength of the Octave Divine Kingdom would definitely be greatly improved, and it would also attract a large number of alchemists. It could be said that whether Fengchen could join the Octave Divine Kingdom would attract the attention of many parties, and if Fengchen rejected the Octave Divine Kingdom because of him, the consequences would be very serious. Thinking of this, Demonic Wave King's back was drenched in cold sweat. He had the urge to strangle Marquis Mou. He didn't think that the King of 8 Branches Kingdom was a person who liked to sow discord. It was really disappointing. Just as Demonic Wave King was regretting his recklessness and panicking, Yi Chunfeng spoke. No, Saint Master Fengchen, don't misunderstand. I didn't mean to target you. I was just deceived by this person. Thinking of how 8 Branches Divine Emperor rejected the marriage proposal from Thousand Calamity sect for Fengchen, it was enough to prove how important Fengchen was to him. In order to eliminate Yi Chunfeng's misunderstanding, he could only sacrifice Marquis Mou. Marquis Mou was even more shocked. He finally understood why Fengchen dared to start a massacre in 8 Branches Kingdom. The top Saint Masters of the Central World could do whatever they wanted no matter where they went. Let's go, Fengchen. Let's go to the palace. I believe the Divine Emperor will give you an explanation. Looking at the dumbfounded Demonic Wave King, Demonic Wave King laughed in his heart. Wait. Sensing the seriousness of the situation, Demonic Wave King hurriedly stopped him. He wanted to put the blame on Marquis Mou and eliminate Yi Chunfeng's misunderstanding of him. Move aside, go explain to the Divine Emperor. The surging Devil King pushed the Demonic Might King away rather violently. He and Yi Chunfeng sat in a carriage that had a small space inside and was pulled by 8 dragon horses. Mobile reading site, book address. In order to make it easier for you to read it next time, you can click Save at the bottom to record your reading history. You will be able to see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 1378. Orochi Imperial Palace was the true center of power in Orochi Imperial City. However, unlike the usual resplendent palaces, most of the buildings here were mainly black, giving off a chilling and daunting feeling. Watermark advertisement test 8 towering towers were built around the palace. 8 huge pearl-like light balls were embedded in the towers, emitting a misty white light that enveloped the entire palace. Here we are, Orochi Imperial Palace is just ahead. Let's get off. Coiling Devil King pulled aside the pearl curtain and pointed at the vast and heavily guarded buildings in front of them. Okay. Yi Chunfeng nodded and followed Coiling Devil King out of the carriage. They slowly walked towards the palace. My lord, this is... Seeing Yi Chunfeng and Coiling Devil King walking side by side, a tall and burly man in golden armor who exuded a suffocating pressure greeted them. He looked at Yi Chunfeng's unfamiliar face and asked in a low voice. This was the top sacred master of Central World, Feng Chen. He had come to propose marriage to His Majesty, Coiling Devil King. Feng Chen. When the burly man learned of Yi Chunfeng's identity, his expression changed slightly, revealing a trace of awe. The Supreme Saint Master of the Central World. Even the Divine Emperor didn't dare to underestimate such a transcendent status. Moreover, the power controlled by a Saint Master was even more terrifying. Too many Nirvana realm experts were willing to work for them. My lord, Sacred Master Feng, please come in. The burly man didn't doubt Yi Chunfeng's identity and personally led them into the heavily guarded Orochi Imperial Palace, which was shrouded in a powerful array. What a terrifying array! Yi Chunfeng's pupils involuntarily shrank as he walked into the Orochi Palace. The God-Eater brain, which was rapidly deducing, sensed that the Orochi Palace was enveloped in an extremely powerful and mysterious formation. The foundations of this formation were the 8 sky-reaching towers. Mid-grade sacred treasures. These 8 towering towers were actually 8 mid-grade sacred treasures. When Yi Chunfeng controlled the God-Eater brain to deduce the sky-piercing towers, his heart was in turmoil. The foundation of the Kingdom of God is really too terrifying. Even a Nirvana Heavenly Realm expert would be killed on the spot after being suppressed by these 8 sky-piercing towers. By Commandant, may I know which hall His Majesty is in? Demon Wave King asked as they walked along a road paved with black jade to the Yamata Imperial Palace, which was decorated with rocks and gardens. His Majesty should be in the reception hall. By Commandant, who had an extraordinary bearing and walked with an imposing manner, said. In the reception hall, His Majesty received the myriad calamity sect master. Monstrous Devil King frowned slightly. His Majesty seems to be discussing the marriage with the 1000 Calamity sect leader. Commander Bai glanced at the tall and calm Yi Chunfeng and nodded. That's right, Yi Chunfeng. Could it be that His Majesty has already agreed to the marriage proposal of the 1000 Calamity sect leader? Monstrous Devil King sensed the seriousness of the situation. If the Emperor of 8 branches really agreed to marry Shui Hanyan to Li Tianyi, it would be extremely difficult to change his mind. It seems so, but His Majesty hasn't announced it to the public yet. As the domain chief of the royal palace and a trusted follower of the Emperor of 8 branches, Bai Commandant knew a lot of secrets. It's okay. I believe His Majesty will change his mind, Yi Chunfeng said confidently. My lord, Saint Master Feng, please wait here for a moment. I'll go and report to His Majesty. 2 9-headed snakes circled outside the majestic reception hall, which was shrouded in restrictions. Then, he said softly, Senior Commander Bai, you should go to the Heavenly Tao sect. Senior Commander Bai led Yi Chunfeng and Xiao Chen to the grand reception hall. Okay. Monstrous Devil King nodded and waited patiently outside the reception hall with Yi Chunfeng. After a while, Bai Commandant walked in and said respectfully, "His Majesty invites you in. My lord, Saint Master Feng, please follow me." Following Bai Commandant through the restrictions, Yi Chunfeng and Monstrous Devil King walked into the luxuriously decorated reception hall supported by 18 coiled dragon pillars. The walls were inlaid with large amounts of jade. They saw the Emperor of 8 Branches, Qi Qingtian, who wore a golden dragon robe and sat on a golden dragon chair. His eyebrows were white as snow, his face was thin, and his body radiated a strong kingly aura. Sitting on his right was a middle-aged man in a black robe embroidered with cloud patterns. His eyes were sunken into his cheeks, his nose was hooked, and his sideburns were white. He was the Thousand Calamity Sect's sect master, Li Fengxing, a Nirvana realm cultivator. Beside Li Fengxing sat a Nirvana realm man who didn't look very old. He was quite handsome and had a trace of arrogance between his brows. He was none other than Li Tianyi, who had been in love with Shui Hanyan for a long time and was known as the peerless genius of the Thousand Tribulations sect. Looking at Yi Chunfeng, who followed Monstrous Devil King into the reception hall, Li Tianyi put down the teacup in his hand. Rays of light shot out from his deep eyes, and a trace of murderous intent flashed by. "Feng Chen greets His Majesty." Yi Chunfeng walked to the center of the reception hall and bowed slightly, speaking in a tone that was neither haughty nor humble. Monstrous Devil King beside him knelt on the ground and bowed respectfully to Qi Qingtian. "Feng Chen, you are younger than I thought." Although Yi Chunfeng did not kneel, Qi Qingtian was not angered by the fact that he was the youngest sage master in the Central World. He sized him up and said, "Are you here for Yen-er?" "Yes, I have come to propose marriage to Divine Emperor Qi. I hope that Divine Emperor can betroth Hanyan to me." Yi Chunfeng nodded. "Feng Chen, you are not bad, but you are late by a day. Last night, I promised Sect Master Li that I would marry Hanyan to Li Tianyi." Qi Qingtian said slowly. His calm voice made it difficult for others to guess his true thoughts. "Your Majesty, Feng Chen was here yesterday, but Monstrous Devil King and Marquis Mo bullied him and got into a conflict with him, which delayed his arrival." Although Li Tianyi was excellent, Monstrous Devil King thought more highly of Yi Chunfeng. He added some details to the story and told it to Qi Qingtian. There was such a thing? After hearing Monstrous Devil King's story, Qi Qingtian frowned. He said in a low voice, "Yes, if it wasn't for Hanyan, I would have left last night." Yi Chunfeng nodded and agreed. "Feng Chen, I will investigate this matter and give you an explanation." Qi Qingtian also knew the power behind Yi Chunfeng. "Thank you, Your Majesty." Yi Chunfeng smiled and said in a tone that was neither arrogant nor servile, "Your Majesty, you have agreed to our proposal. You won't go back on your word, right?" Li Fengxing put down his teacup and looked at Yi Chunfeng. "Feng Chen, I have 10 daughters. Yen-er is not the best in terms of beauty and talent. Other than my eldest, second, third, and Yen-er, my other daughters are all yours. What do you think?" Qi Qingtian did not answer Li Fengxing. He looked at Yi Chunfeng and said in a low voice, "Your Majesty, I only want Hanyan. Why don't you betroth your other daughters to Wanjie? I think they will agree." Yi Chunfeng shook his head and refused. "Feng Chen, you are making things difficult for me." Qi Qingtian frowned and said, "I have already agreed to betroth Yen-er to Li Tianyi. There is nothing absolute in this world." Yi Chunfeng ignored Li Tianyi's angry eyes and said in a neutral tone, "I think Your Majesty should take a look at my betrothal gift first before making a decision." "Very well, then I will see your sincerity." Godly Emperor Ba Qi looked at the calm Yi Chunfeng and showed a trace of interest. He nodded and said, "Mobile reading site, book address. To make it easier for you to read this book next time, you can click Save at the bottom to record this book." You will see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 1379. My first proposal item is a black jade coral that's over 500,000 years old and contains a powerful demonic aura. Watermark advertisement test. Watermark advertisement test. With a thought, Yi Chenfeng took out a black, antler-shaped coral that was more than a meter tall and weighed tens of thousands of kilograms. It was surrounded by strands of demonic qi and was black all over. Then, he placed it on the ground. This black jade coral is quite good. The demonic aura it contains is extremely rare for the Orochi royal family. A smile appeared on his proud face when he saw the black jade coral that Yi Chenfeng took out. My second proposal item is 10 fire spirits that can increase the level of flames. Yi Chenfeng summoned 10 precious fire spirits and had them hover in front of him. The temperature in the hall instantly rose. Fengchen, your proposal items are quite good, but they're still far from what the Thousand Calamity sect has. Li Fengxing sipped his tea and said slowly, if I'm not mistaken, the most precious items that the Thousand Calamity sect has to offer are low-grade holy weapons or quasi-holy weapons. In the Central World, mid-grade holy weapons were the most precious treasures of the major clans. Even if they had one, they wouldn't just give it away. That was why Yi Chenfeng guessed that the Thousand Calamity sect would offer a low-grade holy weapon at most. That's right. There's a low-grade holy weapon in the Thousand Calamity sect's proposal. Qi Qingtian nodded. Then my third proposal item is 2 low-grade holy weapons. Yi Chenfeng went all out and took out the 2 low-grade holy weapons he got from Ming Shifang. Li Fengxing frowned slightly. He didn't expect Yi Chenfeng to take out 2 low-grade holy weapons to propose. Li Tianyi, who was sitting beside him, had a dark expression. If Qi Qingtian went back on his word, not only would his efforts be in vain, but his reputation would also be ruined. No wonder he was the youngest sage master in the Central World. His generosity was not to be underestimated. Seeing Yi Chenfeng's 3 proposal items, Qi Qingtian couldn't help but sigh in admiration. But these aren't enough to change my mind. Although a low-grade holy implement was precious, it was not a fatal temptation to the Octave Divine Nation, which had been passed down for countless years. Moreover, Qi Qingtian wanted to see if Yi Chenfeng had anything more precious to propose marriage. I have one last proposal item. I'm sure His Majesty will change his mind after seeing it. Yi Chenfeng smiled and took out a sheepskin scroll from the universe mirror. Here. Looking at the scroll sealed in the seal, Qi Qingtian's brows furrowed slightly. Li Fengxing and the others also looked at the scroll. They wanted to know what it was that made Yi Chenfeng so confident. This is the map of the outer region of the realm beyond Avalon, Yi Chenfeng said. He took out the map because it was useless to him. Without the key to open the realm beyond Avalon, even if Qi Qingtian had the map, he wouldn't be able to enter the inner region. However, the temptation of the map was huge. He believed that Qi Qingtian wouldn't be able to resist it. What? Knowing that the sheepskin scroll in Yi Chenfeng's hand was the map of the outer region of the realm beyond Avalon, Qi Qingtian's expression changed slightly. Li Fengxing and the others' eyes were burning with passion. The realm beyond Avalon was known as the most dangerous place in the Central World. It was rumored that it contained shocking treasures. Even the clans of the Qingyun realm were jealous of it. You didn't lie to me. This is really the map of the outer region of the realm beyond Avalon. Qi Qingtian returned to his normal state. However, the twitching muscles at the corner of his eyes betrayed his restless heart. Has His Majesty entered the realm beyond Avalon before? Yi Chenfeng asked. I've entered the outer region of the realm beyond Avalon twice. However, there are too many restrictions and the terrain is too complicated. I couldn't reach the inner region of the realm beyond Avalon twice. Since Your Majesty has entered the outer region of the realm beyond Avalon, things will be easier. I can let your majesty sense the map in my hand for 10 breaths. Then, your majesty will be able to confirm the authenticity of this map, Yi Chunfeng said confidently. All right, open the map and let me sense it. Qi Qingtian nodded and said. After undoing the seal, Yi Chunfeng opened part of the sheepskin scroll. He allowed Qi Qingtian's soul to enter the scroll and sense the mysterious and complicated map that was drawn with his soul energy. Soon, 10 breaths passed. Your Majesty, do you think the map of the realm beyond Avalon is real? Yi Chunfeng asked as he watched Qi Qingtian retract his soul power and fall into deep thought. He sealed the map again and asked, This map should be real. Qi Qingtian took a deep breath and said, Fengchen, where did you get this map? Do you have a map of the inner region of the realm beyond Avalon? Please forgive me for keeping the origin of this map a secret, Yi Chunfeng said, but I only have a map of the outer region. I don't have a map of the inner region. He really did have a map of the outer region of the realm beyond Avalon. In the years that the sky beyond sky had appeared in the central world, there were many shocking treasures that were found in the outer regions of the sky beyond sky. Even if one couldn't enter the inner regions of the sky beyond sky, as long as they searched the outer regions of the sky beyond sky, they would be able to find some unimaginable treasures. Thinking of this, many people looked at the map in Yi Chunfeng's hand with burning eyes. Your Majesty, I wonder if you're satisfied with the 4 marriage proposals I took out? Yi Chunfeng asked, looking at the excited Qi Qingtian. Fengchen, you're really not simple. This is the first time I've heard of someone drawing a map of the outer region of the realm beyond Avalon. Suppressing his excitement, Qi Qingtian looked at Yi Chunfeng with a deep gaze. There was a subtle change in his heart. Your Majesty, do you really think there's someone who can draw a map of the outer region of the realm beyond Avalon? Yi Chunfeng smiled and pretended to be mysterious. You mean? Qi Qingtian raised his snow-white eyebrows. From the information Yi Chunfeng revealed, he guessed the origin of the map and was completely moved. Your Majesty, I wonder if my 4 marriage proposals will be able to change your mind? Yi Chunfeng asked as he looked at Qi Qingtian, whose interest had been completely piqued. Sect leaderly, what do you think? Qi Qingtian didn't immediately agree and asked Li Fengxing. Your Majesty, you should make the decision on this matter. When Li Fengxing saw Yi Chunfeng take out a marriage proposal that no one could refuse, he sighed softly. How about this? I won't be partial to anyone. I'll set up 3 rounds of competition. Whoever wins 2 rounds will be Yen heirs, Mr. Right. Qi Qingtian thought for a moment and said, But Fengchen, whether you win or lose, you have to give me the map of the outer region of the realm beyond Avalon. All right, I have no objections, Yi Chunfeng said without hesitation. I have no objections either. Li Tianyi looked at Yi Chunfeng full of fighting spirit and expressed his stance. Although Yi Chunfeng was the youngest alchemist in the Central World, he believed that he could beat him in any other competition except for alchemy. All right, since you have no objections, we'll hold the competition in 5 days at the Palace of Orochi, Qi Qingtian announced loudly. Fengchen, I hope you're not too weak, or else it'll be boring, Li Tianyi said with an arrogant smile. Don't worry, I promise I'll crush your pride and make you admit defeat, Yi Chunfeng said with a smile. Their sharp gazes collided with each other, creating invisible sparks. Mobile reading site, book address. To make it easier for you to read it next time, you can click Save at the bottom to record your reading history. You'll see it the next time you open your bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 1380. Fengchen, you are too shocking. I didn't expect you to have a map of the outer region. On the way back, Demon-Tide King couldn't calm himself down. He was deeply shocked by Yi Chunfeng's proposal. I also got this map by chance. Yi Chunfeng smiled and said, My lord, I like peace and quiet, so I won't go back to the mansion. You can drop me at the entrance. Fengchen, I've already arranged a place for you. It's very quiet and no one will disturb you. Okay then. Yi Chunfeng didn't refuse. He got on the carriage, and came to a place built around a green mountain. Outside the courtyard was a small stream with towering ancient trees. This is where I cultivate during my free time. You can stay here for a while. Demon-Tide King got off the carriage, and pointed at the quiet courtyard. Thank you, my lord. A faint smile appeared on Yi Chunfeng's face. He was very satisfied with this quiet ancient courtyard. How are you, my lord? Walking into the ancient courtyard, a tall and slender woman wearing a dark green silk dress slowly walked over while swaying her sexy waist. Her voice was soft and gentle as she spoke. Yi Chunfeng's eyes lit up when he saw this woman. This woman was extremely charming. She had long eyelashes, charming eyes, and sexy lips. She constantly exuded a myriad of emotions. Her towering breasts seemed like they could jump out at any moment and captivate one's soul. Feng Chen, Anya is the housekeeper of this courtyard. Let Anya take care of you while you're here. Demon-Tide King said with a smile that only men would understand. I appreciate the prince's good intentions, but there is no need. Yi Chunfeng glanced at the flirtatious Anya and shook his head in rejection. Don't worry, Feng Chen, I won't tell Yen or what happened between you and Anya. Demon-Tide King said, Okay, I'll go back first. Anya, take care of Feng Chen. If you don't, I won't forgive you. It's your highness. Yer will definitely take good care of young Master Feng. Anya revealed a charming smile and said softly, Young Master Feng, I think you must be tired. How about take you to take a bath? There is a hot spring in the courtyard. Taking a bath there will not only help you get rid of your fatigue, but also nourish your body. Yi Chunfeng nodded and followed Anya through the long corridor. They came to an exquisitely decorated stone room that was filled with hot steam. They saw a spring that was boiling hot water. I like peace and quiet. I don't need anyone to wait on me. You can leave. Although Anya was very beautiful and her smile was captivating, Yi Chunfeng was not interested in her and did not want to have intimate relations with her. He coldly said, closed the stone door, took off his clothes, and soaked himself in the spiritual hot spring. While soaking in the hot spring, Yi Chunfeng took out the mysterious ancient wood he had traded from the evil spirit little store. He controlled the God-Eater brain to quickly deduce the truth of this pockmarked ancient wood. After the God-Eater brain performed tens of thousands of deductions every second, Yi Chunfeng found that the tree patterns on this ancient wood were somewhat special. Each of the tree patterns contained a strange power. At this time, the sky was gradually darkening. While he was repeatedly studying this ancient wood, the tightly closed stone door was pushed open. Anya, who was wearing a white transparent chiffon dress, walked in barefooted. Her beautiful body was faintly discernible, and her soft breasts were slightly trembling. Why did you come in? Didn't I say that I don't need you to wait on me? Looking at Anya's hot and alluring body and charming expression, Yi Chunfeng, who was soaking in the hot spring, put away the ancient wood. He slightly frowned and coldly said, Young Master Feng, don't be angry. Was afraid that you would be too bored to bathe alone, so she wanted to wait on you and give you a massage. Looking into Yi Chunfeng's cold eyes, Anya gently bit her red lips with tears in the corners of her eyes. Her wronged appearance was very pitiful. All right, you can come in. Yi Chunfeng repeatedly sized up the flirtatious Anya. A strange light flashed in his deep eyes as he nodded and said, That's right, I'll take care of it. Thank you, young master. Anya smiled through her tears and came to Yi Chunfeng's side with a burst of fragrance. She gently knelt on the floor and stretched out her white and soft hands to massage Yi Chunfeng's shoulders. Young Master Feng, is this comfortable? Anya slightly lowered her body and put her red lips close to Yi Chunfeng's ear. Her voice was soft as she asked. Her technique is good. It's very comfortable. Yi Chunfeng nodded, leaned against the side of the hot spring, and said with his eyes closed. Young Master Feng, do you want me to give you a massage? Anya asked softly. No, you can continue to massage my shoulders. Yi Chunfeng said contentedly. Looking at Yi Chunfeng, who was completely relaxed and enjoying the massage, Anya's beautiful big eyes suddenly shot out strange lights. Like thousands of stars, they directly penetrated Yi Chunfeng's mind and attacked his sea of soul. In the next moment, Anya, who was wearing a thin gauze and kneeling on the ground, seemed to be a different person. A sharp black needle containing deadly poison flew out of her mouth and attacked Yi Chunfeng's head at close range. "You want to hurt me with a mere Taoist treasure?" Facing the sudden attack, Yi Chunfeng did not panic. When the black needle with deadly poison stabbed into his head, it could not pierce into his head and was directly shaken off. In the next moment, Yi Chunfeng moved his hands at the same time. The universe mirror of the ancient fragmented map appeared and restricted the whole stone room, blocking Anya's way of retreat. You have found out that there is something wrong with me long ago." Seeing that Yi Chunfeng seemed to have been prepared for this and had instantly sealed the hot spring room, Anya's charming face revealed a trace of panic. She quickly took 2 steps back and said, "If I didn't just find out that there was something wrong with you, do you think I would let you stay?" Yi Chunfeng's glazed flame armor appeared and protected his body. He stepped out of the hot spring and said coldly, How could you find out that there was something wrong with me?" Hearing the confirmation, Anya's face was filled with disbelief. She thought that she had disguised herself very well and would not give herself away. "You indeed hid very well. Even I didn't find out that there was something wrong with you. Unfortunately, when you were seducing me just now, your eyes should not have shown murderous intent. Also, you are much more powerful than the real Anya." Yi Chunfeng looked at her in silence and said, "If I am not wrong, you are the phantom assassin. Feng Chen, we have underestimated you. But no matter how powerful you are, once you are targeted by the phantom assassin, you have no way to survive." The stone room was restricted, but Anya was surprisingly calm. There was not a trace of fear on her charming face. I am not even afraid of the phantom assassin. Why would I be afraid of an assassin organization like yours?" Yi Chunfeng snorted and was about to kill Anya. Suddenly, Yi Chunfeng's sensitive soul power sensed danger. A power beyond his imagination tore through the ancient map's restriction space and attacked him. Golden Battle God. At the critical moment, Yi Chunfeng summoned the Golden Battle God to block in front of him and blocked an attack that evolved the concept of the Great Tao and tore through space like a gust of wind. When he summoned the Bronze Sword Soul and wanted to kill Anya, who was wearing a thin veil, Anya quickly flew out of the stone room and disappeared. Mobile reading site, book address. In order to make it easier for you to read next time, you can click Save at the bottom to record this reading record. Next time you open the bookshelf, you will see it. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 1381. Boom. The tightly shut stone door was blasted open by Yi Chunfeng's fist. When Yi Chunfeng appeared outside the stone room with the Golden Battle God, he suddenly felt like he was being stared at by the Grim Reaper. All the hairs on his body stood up at this moment. Watermark advertisement test. Watermark advertisement test. Under the moonlight, an extremely blurry shadow appeared, swaying with the wind. Although this shadow was erratic, it posed a great threat to Yi Chunfeng. "Feng Chen, we meet again," the erratic blurry shadow said with a hoarse voice, making it difficult to distinguish his identity from his voice. "So it's you." Although the blurry shadow's voice was hoarse and difficult to distinguish, Yi Chunfeng still recognized him as the mysterious Nirvana Realm Master who wanted to kill him outside the Fire God City. "Feng Chen, you're really good. You've avoided assassination attempts time and time again. If you weren't my enemy, perhaps I would have given you a chance to follow me," the blurry shadow said with a hoarse voice. "You're just a Nirvana Realm Master. You don't deserve me to follow you." Yi Chunfeng sneered and said disdainfully. The blurry shadow didn't get angry at his arrogance. He said with a hoarse voice, "Whether you deserve it or not, you won't have the chance. Let me send you to hell with my own hand." As he said this, A strong murderous intent exploded from the blurry shadow, turning into a pitch-black hand that covered the sky. It evolved the will of heaven and earth, suppressing the entire space. When the blurry shadow controlled the giant hand to suppress Yi Chunfeng, he couldn't help but frown. The next moment, the giant hand that suppressed the void disappeared, and he also disappeared under the dark night sky like a gust of wind. The moment the blurry shadow disappeared, Yi Chunfeng's powerful soul sensed that two terrifying Nirvana realm masters appeared under the night sky and chased after the blurry shadow. Who is this person? Yi Chunfeng's brows were tightly knitted together. He kept guessing the identity of this person who tried to kill him time and time again. Although Yi Chunfeng didn't fight him head-on, he had a feeling that this person was no weaker than Tianji. He suspected that this person was at the peak of the Nirvana heavenly realm. No matter who this person is definitely related to the Orochi royal family. Otherwise, it is definitely not a coincidence that he and the Phantom Assassin appeared right after I arrived and assassinated me. Yi Chunfeng mumbled to himself. He felt that the mysterious Supreme Being and the Phantom Assassin were most likely hiding in the Eight Divergent Royal City and were connected to some people in the Eight Divergent Royal Family. The blurry shadow was scared away by the Nirvana Heavenly Realm expert of the Orochi Royal Family. Yi Chunfeng came to the side room and found Anya, who had suffered a heavy blow and was already dead. Looking at Anya's corpse, Yi Chunfeng sighed softly. He spat out the heaven-burning sacred flame to melt her corpse and returned to the main room. With a thought, he entered the universe realm and took out the mysterious ancient wood. He controlled the God-Eater brain to continue studying it. After the God-Eater brain's deduction and exploration, Yi Chunfeng locked onto a large number of patterns in the ancient wood. He took out a sharp dagger and slowly cut open the ancient wood according to the patterns deduced by the God-Eater brain. What kind of power is this? When the winding patterns were cut open by the dagger, pure energy appeared in the ancient wood and constantly permeated the ancient wood. Demonic chi, what a dense demonic chi! When the entire ancient wood was cut open according to the patterns, the energy contained in the ancient wood was completely released. It formed a terrifying demonic chi and dyed a large area of space black. Chaos Divine Wood, devour! While this terrifying demonic chi was rampaging, Yi Chunfeng summoned the primal Chaos Divine Wood. He controlled the primal Chaos Divine Wood to suppress the continuously changing demonic chi. A large number of 5-colored roots extended from the primal Chaos Divine Wood and quickly devoured the demonic chi emanating from the ancient wood. After devouring a portion of the Heaven Vein Root's energy, the Chaos Divine Wood completed another transformation. Its tree body became even more powerful. In less than half an incense stick of time, it had completely devoured the demonic chi that permeated the void. Demonic blood. A drop of demonic blood. After devouring all the demonic chi, Yi Chunfeng was surprised to discover that a drop of black demonic blood had appeared in the Chaos Divine Wood. This drop of demonic blood was of a very high grade, comparable to the Empyrean blood he refined. Could this drop of blood be a drop of Empyrean blood? Controlling the God-Eater brain to sense it several times, Yi Chunfeng had a feeling that this drop of blood should be the blood essence left behind by an Empyrean of the demon race. It contained a tremendous amount of energy. How could the blood of an Empyrean appear in Orochi Royal City? Could it be that Orochi Royal City had a supreme existence on the level of an Empyrean? A bold thought appeared in Yi Chunfeng's mind. Soul-devouring art. Refine. After controlling the Empyrean blood in the Chaos Divine Wood to enter his body, Yi Chunfeng immediately circulated the soul-devouring art to refine this drop of demonic blood. He attempted to form the 5th bloodline in his body and further increase his strength. He was unable to form the Empyrean bloodline. While refining the Empyrean blood, Yi Chunfeng discovered that his body seemed to have reached its limit. He was unable to form the 5th bloodline. However, as he refined the Empyrean blood, his strength continued to increase. His body's potential also increased. Very quickly, when it was close to the evening of the second day, Yi Chunfeng had completely refined this drop of Empyrean blood. His strength had increased tremendously, almost reaching the limit of a level 6 combat beast emperor. Looks like my body's potential has reached its limit. I am unable to form the 5th bloodline. Yi Chunfeng sighed softly and said regretfully, someone is coming. While Yi Chunfeng was meditating in the universe realm, his powerful soul sensed that someone had come to visit through the universe realm. His body flashed, and he left the universe realm, arriving at the ancient courtyard. He saw a man wearing a long robe embroidered with pythons and a crown on his head. He had thick eyebrows and big eyes, and he was fanning himself with a jade fan. He was accompanied by 2 guards. You are? Looking at the uninvited 3 people in the python robe, Yi Chunfeng frowned slightly and asked in a low voice. Little King Chi Boyu pays his respects to Feng Saint Master. Chi Boyu put away the jade fan in his hand and said with a proud smile, Father Emperor is afraid that Feng Saint Master will be lonely and bored. He specially ordered me to take Feng Saint Master to stroll around the imperial city. Thank you very much, Your Majesty Emperor. Looking at the somewhat arrogant Chi Boyu, Yi Chunfeng felt that his purpose of coming was not simple. Feng Saint Master, where do you want to go? Chi Boyu said indifferently, without the slightest intention to get close to Yi Chunfeng. Anything is fine. Yi Chunfeng also wanted to know more about Orochi Imperial City, so he did not refuse. Feng Saint Master, Orochi Imperial City have 3 beauties: the lake is beautiful, the mountain is beautiful, and the woman is beautiful. It is not appropriate to admire the lake and the mountain at night. Why don't I take you to the embroidery street in the West City? Chi Boyu rolled his eyes and said deliberately. Okay, then let's go to the embroidery street. Yi Chunfeng's heart was moved. He had a little interest in the embroidery street and said happily, I didn't expect Feng Saint Master to be such a sentimental person. Have fun tonight, I won't tell my sister. Chi Boyu did not expect Yi Chunfeng to agree. He revealed a sinister smile, as if he had succeeded. Let's go. Yi Chunfeng smiled and did not explain much. He took the carriage that had already been prepared and went to the embroidery street in the West City. Mobile reading site, book address. In order to facilitate the next reading, you can click on the save at the bottom to record this reading record. The next time you open the bookshelf, you can see it. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 1382. Embroidery Street was a famous street in Octave Imperial City. It was built along a slowly flowing river in the western part of the city. It was filled with brothels and inns. Women could be seen everywhere. Watermark advertisement test every night. A large number of cultivators would come to Embroidery Street to drink and chat. They were so happy that they didn't want to go home. How is it, Win Saint Teacher? This Embroidery Street is not bad, right? Chi Boyu revealed a dubious smile as he strolled along the street filled with a faint fragrance and looked at the beautiful scenery outside the brothels. Yes, the scenery was even more beautiful. Looking at the women outside the brothels wearing thin short dresses, revealing their snow-white skin and hot bodies, Yi Chunfeng controlled the God-Eater brain to quickly deduce. Win Saint Teacher, why don't we find a brothel and find a few beauties to drink with us? Chi Boyu smiled and suggested. No rush, let's walk around a bit more. Yi Chunfeng shook his head and slowly walked along the lively street. Pretend, let's see how long you can pretend for. Looking at Yi Chunfeng's back, Chi Boyu revealed a cold smile as he muttered in his heart, that's right. The reason why he was so hostile to Yi Chunfeng was because he had a good relationship with Li Tianyi. Li Tianyi had promised to give him a Gu Dao treasure and 2 Gu Dao pills if he was willing to help set up the marriage between him and Shui Hanyan. Seeing that the treasure was in his hands, Yi Chunfeng interfered. This made him very angry. Young master, come in and have a seat. My Myriad Flower Building is the most famous brothel on Embroidery Street. The girls are all very beautiful. I guarantee that young master will be so happy that he will forget his home and feel like an immortal. When Yi Chunfeng walked to the 3-story building surrounded by beautiful flowers and brightly lit lights, a voluptuous woman wearing a Chong Sam embroidered with phoenix patterns walked over and gently pulled Yi Chunfeng's arm. Myriad Flower Building, seeing the extraordinarily lively 10,000 flower pavilion filled with beauties, Yi Chunfeng's eyes lit up. A brilliant light flashed in his deep eyes. Win Saint Master, I have been to this Myriad Flower Pavilion before. It is indeed not bad. The beauties and wine are all of the best. Why don't we go in and have a seat? Chi Boya revealed a faint sneer and slowly walked over. Oh, Prince Yu, what brings you here today? Come in quickly. When the beautiful woman saw Chi Boyu, who had an extraordinary bearing, walking over, her powdered face was full of smiles. She quickly walked over and greeted him enthusiastically. Okay, let's go inside. Yi Chunfeng retracted the light in his eyes as he nodded and said, Humph, I finally couldn't hold it in any longer. Today, I will definitely remember all of your ugly behavior. Chi Boya revealed a sinister smile as he watched Yi Chunfeng walk into the Myriad Flower Building. After walking into the Myriad Flower Building, which was filled with the fragrance of cosmetics, Yi Chunfeng saw that there were many beauties here. Many of them wore short cheongsam skirts that only covered their buttock. They carried cups of wine as they walked through the crowd. Not only were they not angry at the people who were trying to take advantage of them, they even revealed enchanting smiles, teasing the men's nerves. In the center of the first floor of the Myriad Flower Building, there was a jade platform that was over a meter tall. A charming woman wearing an almost transparent gauze dress with her snow-white skin was doing her best to dance her sexy body, stirring up everyone's emotions. When she reached the climax of her dance, she even gently pulled down her dress, revealing her white shoulders and collarbones. She was extremely seductive. Win Saint Master, this Myriad Flower Building is not bad, right? Chi Boya noticed that Yi Chunfeng was looking around and revealed a mischievous smile as he asked intentionally. Not bad, this place is not bad. Yi Chunfeng nodded. His deep gaze locked onto a woman sitting on the platform. Her slender fingers gently plucked the zither strings. She was extremely beautiful and had an otherworldly temperament. It was a woman wearing a white dress. Prince Yu, I'm very interested in that girl. Can you ask her to accompany me for a few drinks? Yi Chunfeng pointed at the woman in white playing the zither and said indifferently. No problem. Although Chi Boya's position was not high among the princes and he was even pushed aside by many princes, no one dared to provoke him. He said in a commanding tone, Win Saint Master has taken a fancy to that girl. Tell her to stop playing the zither and accompany Win Saint Master to drink. This Prince Yu, Xiao Yu, is only a zither player. She doesn't accompany you to drink. The beautiful woman said awkwardly. What did you say? She doesn't accompany you to drink? Chi Boya was immediately enraged. He warned fiercely, Do you believe that I will order people to seal your Myriad Flower Building right now? Prince Yu, please calm down. You guys go to the private room and rest for a while. I will go and persuade Xiao Yu. Thinking of Chi Boya's identity, the beautiful woman could only compromise obediently and said with a smile. Damn it, you tell her. In Bachi Imperial City, if I tell her to cheat, she will cheat even if she doesn't want to. Chi Boyu said overbearingly. Yes, yes. The beautiful woman said in fear. She immediately found several beautiful women and accompanied Yi Chunfeng's group of 5 to the number 1 private room. Win Saint Master, let's play tonight. Just tell me who you like. Even if I have to tie her up, I will tie her to your bed. Walking into the luxuriously decorated, fully furnished room with a giant red bed, Chi Boyu said in a seemingly righteous manner. Thank you very much, Prince Yu. Yi Chunfeng said with a slight smile. Come, come, let's drink first. In this Myriad Flower Building, aside from beauties, this wine is also the best. Chi Boyu said in a good mood as he hugged a charming woman's soft waist and moved his hands up and down. Okay, let's drink. Yi Chunfeng was not interested in the woman beside him. He picked up the wine cup and drank it all in one gulp. After a few cups of wine, Yi Chunfeng's deep eyes flashed with a trace of fierceness. He withdrew the soul power that the God-Eater brain was rapidly deducing. At that moment, the tightly shut door was pushed open. The beautiful woman Yi Chunfeng had pointed out, who was wearing a long white dress. She had an otherworldly temperament and was playing the zither, carried 2 pots of fine wine. Accompanied by the beautiful woman, she entered the private room. Prince Yu, Wind Saint Master, I brought little Yu here. The beautiful woman revealed a charming smile and said softly, Little Yu, Prince Yu, Wind Saint Master is our myriad flower buildings VIP. Tonight we will accompany them well and satisfy them. Yes, Aunt Yu. The woman in the white dress gently bit her red lips. She walked in with the wine and sat on the side cautiously. Damn it, you are still pretending to be a saintess in myriad flower building. Sit next to Wind Saint Master. If you don't serve Wind Saint Master well today, I will not forgive you. Chi Boyu gave a look to the 2 guards standing on the side and ordered fiercely. Yes, yes, the woman in the white dress showed a trace of panic, but she still sat next to Yi Chunfeng obediently. She poured 2 cups of wine for Yi Chunfeng and Chi Boyu and said, Yu proposes a toast to you too. After drinking the wine, Yi Chunfeng frowned slightly. However, his face did not reveal a trace of abnormality. Chi Boyu also did not find anything unusual. While he was taking advantage of the woman, he was thinking about the scene of Yi Chunfeng's dissolute behavior in myriad flower building. What, are you afraid of me? Yi Chunfeng looked at the beautiful woman in the white dress with a slightly pale face. He put down the wine cup in his hand and asked with deep meaning. No, not afraid. The woman in the white dress gently bit her lips and said with a slightly trembling voice. Come into my arms. Yi Chunfeng held her soft body in his arms somewhat roughly. Under Chi Boyu's excited gaze, he put one hand into her clothes and gently slid it on her smooth back. At the same time, he pulled open the clothes on her chest, exposing 2 soft lumps of pink and a small plum blossom mole between her breasts to the air. Young master, please don't do this. Looking at Yi Chunfeng's action, the woman in the white dress's pretty face flushed red. Her expression even showed a trace of panic. Don't be nervous, I don't have any other meaning. I just want to see the plum blossom mole on your chest. Yi Chunfeng gathered his powerful Dao intent into his fingers that were stroking her smooth jade back. He slowly said, If I remember correctly, last night there was a girl who seduced me. She also had a plum blossom mole on her chest, and the position was exactly the same as yours. Don't you think it's a coincidence? Yunlei's WeChat public number, YLTY83. Mobile reading site, book address. In order to facilitate your next reading, you can click on the Collect button at the bottom to record this reading record. Next time you open the bookshelf, you will see it. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 1383. Young Master, what do you mean by that? I don't quite understand. The white-dressed woman's body stiffened slightly, and a strange expression appeared on her flushed face. She was about to struggle out of Yi Chunfeng's embrace. However, Yi Chunfeng's attack was even faster. His finger, which was filled with powerful will of the way, pierced right into her smooth skin, piercing through her heart meridian and crippling her cultivation. PFFF. With her heart meridian broken, a large amount of blood spurted out from her mouth. Her entire body fell into Yi Chunfeng's embrace, and her beautiful eyes revealed despair and anger. Wind Saint Master, what are you? This sudden turn of events gave Chi Boyu a huge fright. He really couldn't understand what had gotten into Yi Chunfeng's head. Why would he suddenly cripple a delicate beauty? Could it be that he had some special fetish? The charming women sitting beside Chi Boyu turned pale with fright. Seeing the blood spurting out from the white-dressed woman's body, they screamed. Yi Chunfeng didn't pay attention to Chi Boi. He quickly pressed on the white-dressed woman's head and used the God-Eater brain to search her soul. However, when the God-Eater brain's power entered her soul sea, Yi Chunfeng's expression changed slightly, and he quickly threw her out. Bang! The restrictions in the white-dressed woman's soul sea exploded, and her head exploded. She died on the spot. Wind Saint Master, what exactly happened? Seeing the white-dressed woman's head explode and die, Chi Boi also sensed that something was wrong. He asked loudly, Prince Yu, you better check your body. If I'm not wrong, you and I have both been poisoned. Yi Chunfeng glanced at the white-dressed woman's corpse and said regretfully. He regretted that he didn't succeed in searching her soul. What? Poisoned? Chi Boi's expression changed slightly, and he quickly checked his body. He realized that he was really poisoned, as Yi Chunfeng said. Damn it, this myriad flower building is really daring. They even dare to poison me. I'm going to tear this place apart. What are you all standing there for? Hurry up and tear this place apart. Chi Boi ordered in exasperation. He didn't even dream that someone would dare to poison him in the 8 divergent imperial city. Buzz, buzz. Just as Chi Boi's 2 subordinates were smashing, a powerful array formation appeared in the myriad flower building, enveloping the entire building. The next moment, several hundred sharp arrows rained down, attacking everyone including Yi Chunfeng. In the blink of an eye, several charming women in the private room were pierced through and died. Although Chi Boi and the others blocked the attack of the arrows, they were also injured by the terrifying power of the arrows. Damn it, is your myriad flower building trying to rebel? You even dare to touch me? With a slightly pale face, Chi Boi summoned 2 Gu Dao treasure to protect his body and roared angrily. Prince Yu, we don't want to hurt you. How about this? If you're willing to let us erase a portion of your soul memories, I'll let you leave. The tightly shut door slowly opened, and the charming woman from before walked in. She looked at the calm and collected Yi Chunfeng with a sharp gaze and said coldly, Don't be so arrogant. Who the hell are you? Looking at the charming woman and the 3 Nirvana realm experts behind her, a trace of panic appeared in Chi Boi's heart. He braced himself and said loudly, If I'm not wrong, they should be the Phantom Assassins, and this myriad flower building is the Phantom Assassin's Dark Tower, Yi Chunfeng said calmly. Feng Qin, I really didn't expect you to be able to find this place and even find Ziying, who tried to assassinate you last night. Your ability is indeed extraordinary. The charming woman looked at Yi Chunfeng and said coldly, Tell the person behind you to come out. With just the few of you, you can't hurt me. Although the 3 people behind the charming woman were all Nirvana realm experts, they weren't a threat to Yi Chunfeng. And Yi Chunfeng had a feeling that the Nirvana realm expert who tried to kill him last night might also be here. Feng Qin, you're really not simple. At this moment, a blurry figure appeared and said with a hoarse voice, Wait, this matter has nothing to do with me. I'm willing to let you erase my soul memories. Looking at the blurry figure shrouded in black light and feeling the fierce killing intent emitted from his body, Chi Boi became timid and shouted loudly. Suddenly, Yi Chunfeng appeared behind him with sword steps. His fist, which contained 100 million gene of strength, directly broke through the 2 Gu Dao treasure's defense and pierced through his chest, shattering his life force. Why did you kill me? Chi Boi's eyes widened. He couldn't believe that Yi Chunfeng would actually kill him. From the moment you schemed against me, you should have thought of this result, Yi Chunfeng said coldly. After speaking, he used the stun technique to shatter Chi Boi's scattered soul. Then, he continued to attack and killed 2 of his subordinates. Feng Qin, you killed them because you wanted to frame me, Phantom, right? Seeing Yi Chunfeng mercilessly kill Chi Boi and the other 2, the blurry figure shrouded in black light said in a low voice. You're wrong. They were killed by you, the Phantom Assassins. Yi Chunfeng wiped the blood off his hands and said with a calm voice, You killed Prince Yu, and now you want to kill me. In order to avenge Prince Yu, I have to risk my life to leave this place. Ha ha, Feng Chen, you're really an interesting person. The blurry figure laughed and said, Your plan is not bad, but do you think you can leave this place alive? If I wasn't 100% sure, do you think I would have come in after discovering the secret of 10,000 flower building? Yi Chunfeng smiled and summoned the Nirvana Heavenly Realm Expert, Lei Yi. Nirvana Heavenly Realm Expert? The moment Lei Yi appeared, the blurry figure let out a surprised sound. He didn't expect Yi Chunfeng to have the protection of a Nirvana Heavenly Realm Expert. Feng Chen, your methods are getting more and more shocking. But with his Nirvana Heavenly Realm strength, do you think you can stop me? The blurry figure said coldly. A power that made Yi Chunfeng and the others suffocate spread out from his body. Who said I'm stopping you? Yi Chunfeng sneered and said, Lei Yi, use the 9-dragon jade wall to break this formation. Yes. An earth-shattering Dao power erupted from Lei Yi's body. The 3 Dao diagrams that appeared on his body fused together. Like a rushing tide, they surged into the 9 dragons' jade annulus. Roar! Roar! After merging with the majestic Dao power and the 3 Dao diagrams, the 9-dragon jade wall let out a dragon roar that pierced through clouds and cracked stones. 3 bearing fangs and brandishing claws, evolving the concept of the great Dao, flew out of the 9-dragon jade wall. With the power to destroy everything, they bombarded the blurry figure and the others. Although the blurry figure's strength was far superior to Lei Yi, the 9-dragon jade wall was a supreme-grade Dao treasure. With his strength, he didn't dare to face the 3 dragons head-on and quickly dodged to the side. Boom! Boom! 3 loud explosions resounded through the sky. The inhibition formation enveloping the 10,000 flowers building was instantly shattered by the attack of the world-destroying Mad Dragon. The terrible remaining power of the Mad Dragon shattered a large number of buildings on Embroidery Street. The infinite power in the dark night sky alarmed the old monsters in the Imperial Palace of Orochi. The entire Imperial City of 8 Point also fell into chaos at this moment. Mobile reading site, book address. In order to facilitate your next reading, you can click on the Save button below to record this reading record. Next time you open the bookshelf, you will see it. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 1384. Fochin, you're not bad. The next time we meet, I'll definitely kill you. The array formation's restriction shattered and the Orochi royal family fell into chaos. This made the blurry shadow have the intention to retreat. He left behind a ruthless sentence and was about to leave. Watermark advertisement test. It's not that easy to leave. Everything was going according to Yi Chunfeng's plan. And the most important part of this plan was to use the Nirvana Heaven Realm mighty figure of the Orochi royal family to deal with the blurry shadow. Therefore, before the Nirvana Heaven Realm mighty figure of the Orochi royal family arrived, Yi Chunfeng wouldn't let him leave. Golden Battle God, Sword Puppet, hold him back. Under Yi Chunfeng's command, the Golden Battle God and Sword Puppet attacked him from both sides. As for Lei Yi, he was teleported into the cosmic realm by Yi Chunfeng. Scram! The Golden Battle God and the Sword Spirit Puppet closed in on him. Enraged by the scheme, the blurry figure let out a shocking roar. Terrifying Dao intent shattered the space around his body and ruthlessly bombarded the Sword Spirit Puppet and the Golden Battle God. The Golden Battle God was instantly repelled by the blurry shadow's explosive strength, but the Sword Puppet, which had burned a large number of Heaven Crystal's energy, didn't move at all. It slashed at him with the Black Dragon Holy Sword, not giving him a chance to leave. Cosmic Sword Formation, Trap. While the blurry figure was being held back by the Sword Spirit Puppet, Yi Chunfeng controlled the 108 Cosmos swords to fly out of his body and form a profound sword formation, trapping the blurry figure within and forcefully restraining him. Boom! 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 A loud explosion sounded under the pitch-black night sky. As Yi Chunfeng and his two avatars were holding back the blurry shadow with all their might, several powerful auras flew towards them at an extremely fast speed. Break. In the critical situation, the blurry shadow had no choice but to reveal a portion of his strength. A powerful bloodline power spread out from his body, transforming into thousands of beams of light that forcefully blasted away the cosmic sword formation that trapped him and flew into the air. Buzz. The chaotic void suddenly trembled. The sword puppet and golden battle god interweaved powerful attacks and attack. They continued to restrict his speed and waited for the Nirvana Heaven Realm mighty figure of Orochi to arrive. Boom boom, the sword puppet and golden battle god's attack struck his body, but the blurry shadow's strength was too terrifying. With his powerful bloodline powers, he shattered the two avatars' attacks and tore through their defense line like a meteor. Where are you going? Just as he broke through the entanglement of Yi Chunfeng's group of three, a voice that was like muffled thunder from the nine heavens resounded. An old man who had reached the limit of the Nirvana heavenly realm and whose entire body had merged into one with the night appeared. He blasted out a palm strike from afar, causing a large area of space to collapse as he attacked the blurry shadow. Boom, the space of Orochi Imperial City trembled. If it wasn't for the Orochi Divine Nation activating the array formation, this palm strike would have been enough to destroy the buildings and all life within a radius of several miles. Facing the black-robed old man's fatal palm strike, the black light that enveloped the blurry shadow was shattered. However, in the next moment, a terrifying demonic shadow appeared in the blurry shadow. It stepped on the void and roared, attacking the black-robed elder with boundless demonic chi. Boom! When the attacks of the two peak Nirvana heavenly realm experts collided, a terrifying shockwave swept across the sky, shattering the dome of heaven. An earth-shattering explosion could be clearly heard within a radius of 100 miles. After this attack, several Nirvana heavenly realm experts of the Orochi Divine Nation appeared. They formed an extremely powerful array formation and attacked the man shrouded in the demonic shadow. They constantly launched fierce attacks at him, determined to severely injure him and capture him alive. Why is this power so similar to the demon Venerable's bloodline in this person's body? Could this person be a descendant of the demon Venerable? When the man with the demonic shadow was fighting with several Orochi Divine Nation experts, the God-Eater brain that was rapidly deducing noticed an abnormality, causing Yi Chunfeng to sense his bloodline. Seniors, this person should be related to the Phantom Assassin. Prince Chi Boyu and his two followers were killed by this person. Yi Chunfeng recalled his two avatars and shouted towards the Divine Nation's Nirvana Heavenly Realm expert. Feng Chen, I swear to kill you. Hearing that Yi Chunfeng was framing him, the demonic shadow man's lungs were about to explode. However, the strength of the Nirvana Heavenly Realm experts of the Orochi Divine Nation was extremely terrifying. Since he had deliberately concealed his identity, he didn't dare to use many divine abilities. Not to mention killing Yi Chunfeng to vent his anger, it would be very difficult for him to escape. Don't hide the head and show the tail, reveal your true body. 8-branch illusionary devil Art, the black-robed elder, who was the strongest among them, let out a roar. His powerful bloodline power erupted as he used the number 1 magic power of the Octave Divine Kingdom. In an instant, 8 clones that were identical to his original body appeared and surrounded the man. They sealed off all his escape routes and launched a fatal blow at him. Demonic Shadow, explode. The demonic Shadow Man knew how terrifying the 8-branch illusionary devil Art was. He didn't hesitate to explode the bloodline shadow that enveloped his body, forming an extremely terrifying force that bombarded the 8 avatars of the black-robed old man. Under the attack of the demonic shadow, the black-robed old man displayed the 8-branch illusionary devil Art. The 8 avatars began to break apart, and the 8 attacks launched by the 8 avatars also shattered at this moment. Whoosh! After the demonic shadow exploded, the mysterious man was also affected to a certain extent. He didn't dare to stay any longer to avoid exposing his identity. Using a strange movement technique, he instantly transformed into 3 afterimages and flew in 3 directions at an extremely fast speed. Seniors, the one in the northwest is that man's true body. Under the deduction of the God-Eater brain, Yi Chunfeng easily captured the mysterious man's true body and shouted. In response to Yi Chunfeng's reminder, several Nirvana Heavenly Realm experts of the Orochi Divine Nation didn't doubt it. They sped up and flew to the northwest to pursue the mysterious man with all their strength. Under his own calculations, the mysterious man was chased by the Nirvana Heavenly Realm experts of the Orochi Divine Nation. When he was fleeing in a sorry state, Yi Chunfeng appeared beside the charming woman who had been knocked unconscious by the 9-dragon jade annulus. He took her away from the ruins of the Wanhua building and returned to the ancient courtyard of the Torrent Devil King. Feng Chen, you're finally back. I heard that something happened in the embroidery street. Did you get involved? Seeing Yi Chunfeng return to the ancient courtyard with an unconscious woman covered in blood, the Torrent Devil King, who had arrived early, immediately went up and asked with concern. The incident at the embroidery street was directed at me. Yi Chunfeng simply told the story of the Phantom Assassin's assassination and blamed Chi Boya's death on the Phantom Assassin. What? Bo Yu is dead? Although Chi Boya's status wasn't high among the princes of the Orochi Divine Nation, he was still a prince after all. After hearing the news of his death, the Torrent Devil King felt the seriousness of the situation. Feng Chen, are you sure it was the Phantom Assassin who tried to assassinate you? The Torrent Devil King's brows tightly knitted together. Your Highness, the person I captured is a Phantom Assassin, and the leader of the Phantom Assassin is currently being pursued by several Nirvana Heavenly Realm experts of the Divine Nation. I think you will know tomorrow morning whether I am lying to you or not, Yi Chunfeng slowly said. That despicable Phantom Assassin dared to kill a prince of the Orochi Divine Nation. The Torrent Devil King angrily said, Feng Chen, can you give her to me? No problem. Yi Chunfeng captured the charming woman to frame the Phantom Assassin. Now that the Torrent Devil King was doing it for him, why wouldn't he do it? Feng Chen, the Orochi Divine Nation has been too chaotic recently. Why don't you come back with me to the king's mansion to rest? The Torrent Devil King suggested. All right, I'll follow you back to the king's mansion to rest. Yi Chunfeng wanted to get some inside information from the Torrent Devil King, so he didn't refuse and followed him back to the king's mansion. Mobile reading site, book address. For the convenience of your next reading, you can click the save button at the bottom to record this reading. You will see it the next time you open the bookshelf. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support. Chapter 1385. The chaotic night passed slowly, and the first rays of the morning sun shone on the earth. Watermark advertisement test. Although the array formation that enveloped the Imperial City had neutralized most of the attacks, the destruction caused by the battle between the almighty figures of the Nirvana Heavenly Realm was too terrifying. Coupled with the attack of the 9-dragon jade annulus, Embroidery Street and parts of the Imperial City were severely damaged. This caused many cultivators in the Imperial City to panic and evacuate from the 8 divergent Imperial City. Feng Chen, His Majesty wants to see you. Come with me to the Imperial Palace. The torrential demon king hurriedly returned to his manor and found Yi Chunfeng, who was meditating with his eyes closed. Your Majesty, are you looking for me because of what happened last night? Yi Chunfeng asked after letting out a breath of turbid air and waking up from his cultivation. Yes, His Majesty wants to ask you personally about what happened last night. Devil-Tide King nodded. Then let's go. I also want to know if the assassin has been caught. After that, Yi Chunfeng left the palace with Devil-Tide King and rode a carriage to the Imperial Palace. He met the Emperor of 8 Branches, Qi Qingtian, in the palace's Golden Hall. Other than Qi Qingtian, Yi Chunfeng also saw a familiar face in the Golden Hall. This person was the man who stood against the demonic shadow last night, the black-robed elder who had reached the limit of the Nirvana realm. Feng Chun greets His Majesty. Yi Chunfeng bowed slightly and said in a tone that was neither arrogant nor humble. You don't have to be so polite, Saint Master Feng. I'm looking for you today because I want to know what happened last night. Qi Qingtian's deep eyes shone as he looked at Yi Chunfeng and said in a low voice, The assassins who tried to assassinate me last night, and Prince Yu was killed by them because of me. Yi Chunfeng explained in detail how he was assassinated twice by the Phantom. Saint Master Feng, what grudge do you have with the Phantom for them to try to assassinate you again and again? Qi Qingtian asked in a low voice. I don't know why they tried to assassinate me, but it's not normal for them to try to assassinate me as soon as I arrived at 8 Branches Imperial City. Yi Chunfeng shook his head and expressed his doubts. When Saint Master, you wouldn't suspect that someone from my Orochi imperial family is secretly colluding with Phantom to assassinate you, would you? Qi Qingtian's snow-white eyebrows furrowed slightly. He understood the meaning behind Yi Chunfeng's words. No one knew my whereabouts when I came to 8 Imperial City, but Phantom was able to complete a thorough assassination in such a short time. This was probably not a coincidence. Yi Chunfeng said, That's right, Xinhuang Majesty, didn't I catch a Phantom killer last night? I wonder if I have any harvest? She's dead, and we haven't learned anything of value. Qi Qingtian shook his head. Dead. Yi Chunfeng's brows slightly creased as he asked, Have you caught the Nirvana Heavenly Realm Master who is suspected to be the mastermind behind the scenes? That person's strength is very terrifying. He is slightly stronger than I. We were unable to catch him. The black-robed old man slowly opened his eyes and said in a deep voice. Yi Chunfeng asked, Have you guessed the identity of that person through the exchange with him? That person hid very well. We were unable to guess his true identity. However, we are certain that this person cultivates demonic arts and has the blood of the true demon flowing in his body. The black-robed old man said, Grand Elder, are you sure that person has the blood of the divine demon flowing in his body? Qi Qingtian's brows were tightly knitted together as he asked in a low voice. 8 Imperial City was the true demon clan. If the person who assassinated Yi Chunfeng last night had the blood of the true demon flowing in his body, then it would confirm Yi Chunfeng's guess. It shouldn't be fake. The black-robed old man nodded and said, However, this person is not from 8 Imperial City. As for who he is, I cannot guess. Feng Saint Master, before the competition, you can stay in 8 Imperial City. As for the person who assassinated you last night, we will investigate thoroughly and give you an explanation. Qi Qingtian pondered for a moment and said, Thank you, Xinhuang Majesty. Yi Chunfeng wanted to drag 8 Imperial City down with him. With 8 Imperial City's heavenly hall against Phantom, no matter how strong Phantom was, it would still be destroyed. Dongyi, take Feng Saint Master to Cuiju Garden to rest, Qi Qingtian ordered. Yes, Emperor of 8 Imperial City, Qi Dongyi, who had just broken through to the Nirvana Heavenly Realm, stood up and said, Feng Saint Master, please. Thank you. Yi Chunfeng looked at Qi Dongyi, who was wearing a Qilin robe. Qi Dongyi's face was as sharp as a knife, and his eyes were like cold stars. He stood out from the crowd and had the natural aura of a king. Obviously, Qi Dongyi was a top genius with the ability to fight above his level. Feng Saint Master, I really admire you. You have the title of Saint Master at such a young age. If my sister could marry you, it would be her fortune. On the way to Cuiju Garden, Qi Dongyi kept chatting with Yi Chunfeng. His voice was like the spring breeze, making people feel good about him. Emperor Qi, you flatter me. Yi Chunfeng smiled and said, Emperor, I want to see Han Yan. Can you help me arrange it? Qi Dongyi hesitated for a moment. Don't worry, Emperor, I just want to see Han Yan to relieve my yearning. If Emperor is willing to help me, I will support Emperor unconditionally in the future and owe Emperor a favor. Looking at the hesitant Qi Dongyi, Yi Chenfeng promised. Really? Qi Dongyi's eyes lit up. Compared to Li Tianyi, he was more optimistic about Yi Chenfeng. If he could get the Central World's youngest Saint Master to owe him a favor, he would definitely get a generous reward. What's more, although he was the Emperor, there were too many people eyeing his position. He still had a long way to go before he could become the Emperor of 8-Point Imperial City. If Yi Chenfeng could support him, then with Yi Chenfeng's influence, his chances of success would greatly increase. Okay, Feng Saint Master, go back to Cui-Ju Garden to rest first. I will find a way to bring Han Yan here tonight. Qi Dongyi gritted his teeth and said, But Han Yan can't spend the night with you. Emperor, you think too much. I just want to see Han Yan. Yi Chenfeng smiled and said, That's good. Qi Dongyi nodded and revealed a smile. Feng Saint Master, we have arrived at Cui-Ju Garden. You can rest here for the next few days and wait for my good news at night. Qi Dongyi brought Yi Chenfeng to a beautiful courtyard filled with blooming flowers. He chased away all the maid. Okay, thank you. Yi Chenfeng nodded and walked into the Cui-Ju Garden full of blooming flowers and rich spirit energy. He sat cross-legged under a tall ancient tree in the courtyard and breathed in and out spirit energy to regulate his breath. While he was regulating his breath, the God-Eater brain quickly deduced. The rapidly amplified soul power radiated in all directions, trying to penetrate the restrictions in the palace and explore the real situation of 8-Point Imperial City. However, there were many restrictions in the palace and the 8 heaven-reaching towers were extremely powerful. Yi Chenfeng repeatedly tested it several times and had no choice but to give up. He stopped the God-Eater brain's deduction and waited in silence for Shui Hanyan's arrival. Night fell and the sky gradually darkened, but 8-Point Imperial City was brightly lit. When it was close to midnight, Yi Chenfeng suddenly opened his eyes and looked outside the Cui-Ju Garden. He saw a long hair draped over her shoulders, a slender figure, and a long blue dress gently fluttering in the night wind. She had a noble and elegant temperament slowly walked over. I'm here. You must be anxious to wait for me. Looking at Shui Hanyan, who appeared in the dark with a slightly excited expression, Yi Chenfeng slowly stood up and said softly, Mobile reading home, book address. In order to facilitate your next reading, you can click on the Save button below to record this reading record. Next time you open the bookshelf, you will see it. Please recommend this book to your friends, QQ, blog, WeChat, etc. Thank you for your support.